round 5 in the SANFL. It's the grand final rematch. It's Sturt, the premiers of last season, up against Central District. Hello everyone, welcome. Central's on the ground in this match this afternoon, and already there is a sense of excitement here. Anzac Day, such a great afternoon, and it's fantastic to be at the beautiful Adelaide Oval. The last time Sturt was here was actually when they won the preliminary final quite convincingly. Tim Ginniver's with me, and Tim, fantastic afternoon, great sense of tradition with this match.
Absolutely, Anzac Day, as I said last week, I love it. I really do look forward to the contest on the day, because you have the march and then a lot of those diggers come down to the Oval and they expect a good game, they expect a good contest, and that's what these two sides want to give today.
Well, two sides, I guess in the last couple of years we've seen the Eagles, of course, playing in the grand final in 2000-2001 up against Centrals, and it seemed that Central certainly had their measure. This afternoon, both sides in very, very good form leading in.
Oh, you're right. I think it's a completely different year, and Sturt just seemed to be gradually getting closer to the Dogs last year, and it all culminated in the grand final with a big victory. But today, another day, and Centrals will be smarting over that and wanting to pay back a little bit of the hurt that would have happened on that day.
Well, they met, what, 5 times last season. The only time Sturt got over them was very convincingly in the grand final. And as you say, the Doggies, the premiers of the previous 2 seasons, were certainly upset by that result, of course.
Yeah, they were, and they were beaten convincingly in the midfield, which is one of their strengths over the last few seasons. They've been pretty dominant the way they've rotated that, so it's been pretty outstanding. And to be beaten there, they're smarting from it, and I think they want to try and prove that that was a one-off and it won't happen again.
No, an outstanding season from that man, Tim Weatherald. Just about to go down to Mark Soderstrom for the toss of the coin.
Well, thanks, Neil. Hello, everyone. Joining me in the centre is Major Len Opie, a veteran of 3 wars representing Australia. Len, a special day to remember your mates you went away with?
Yes, it is, yeah. It's the 50th anniversary of the end of the Korean War this year. And I went to Sydney for a special commemoration for the Battle of Kap Yong on Wednesday, came back yesterday.
And Len, who's your tip for the big game today?
Well, I live in the Sturt area, so I guess it's Sturt.
Okay, and we're with the captain, Seamus Maloney, and Daniel Hill. Healy, Len, if you'd like to toss the coin, please. Seamus Maloney has won the toss, so we'll see Sturt will be kicking to the southern end for the start of the first quarter. Back to you, Neil.
Thanks, Soders, and Len Opie. Tremendous to have the veterans involved in the telecast this afternoon, and particularly at the coin toss.
Great gesture, really, and I think yeah, probably get a bit of a kick out of it as well. It's just great to be respected and remembered for the efforts that they made.
Okay, now we're going back down onto the ground for Bill Howard to read the ode, and he, of course, Bill Howard talked to us last week, and he was a Sturt fan since he was age 5, actually. So, Bill, a very proud Australian. And in actual fact, it looks like we're going to do the bugling first. The last post will be played before Bill reads out the ode. So we'll just stand by, just waiting for the ceremony to actually begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to be upstanding and observe the ceremony of the occasion.
It's a stirring ceremony, isn't it, Tim? And something which shows great respect. And I think, if I may be allowed to say, that in the last 10 years, I guess the Australian public has really come to terms with paying respect on Anzac Day.
It's just a great moment, isn't it? I was down at the dawn service this morning, and I couldn't believe the turnout. It was fantastic. It just gets bigger every year.
Of course, earlier we saw a cavalcade of ex-players, former players from the different clubs, World War II, a mix, in fact, of veterans from the various conflicts Australia's been involved in, and great to see, again, involving the people who have been involved in this great sport and also in war.
It is, isn't it? And so many of them during the war times were playing Australian rules footy, and you know, a lot of them put their hands up and went straight into it, and just thought it was their honour and their duty to just go and defend their country.
Just those balloons there representing the Norwood Football Club. Among those, Ted Stevens, a World War II veteran who was a POW in Japan. Quite amazing. I just cannot understand, can't believe what it would be like.
Very hard yards for those guys, very hard yards, but you know, they consider themselves the lucky ones because they're the ones that came back. A lot of their mates didn't.
Yeah, it's quite extraordinary. But look for you, you've been involved plenty of times on this afternoon as a player. Is it in fact more nerve-wracking, more nerves on an afternoon such as this when such respect is paid to people such as these former players?
I think it's one of the games in the season that you actually do put more emphasis on.
Yeah.
And I know we were particularly keen to win on this particular day, just to show respect. It was as simple as that, and to make sure that you know, you committed yourself and sacrificed your body as those guys did, you know, all those years ago.
Just look at the lineups in Sturt. Well, Brent Riley coming in on the wing there, obviously dropped by the Crows, but he'll be looking to make an impression.
He's developing as a footballer, and he's got plenty of talent, but that side is looking very, very good at the moment.
And Central District, a strong lineup, but Brinquera pulling out and going up to the power lineup, and young David Kellett coming in for his first game.
Yeah, look, that is a big loss with Walton and Steinberner as well out of the lineup. I think that's a real big blow to Centrals, but shouldn't make too much difference because I still think it's going to be nip and tuck this game.
Well, just about set for a start. Down to Mark Soderstrom, and for the first time this season, Andrew Rogers on the boundary.
Well, thanks, Neil, and a magnificent day here, Anzac Day, one of the big days in the South Australian football fixture, and with the weather god smiling down on us, Andrew, today should be no exception.
Absolutely perfect down here, 23 degrees, just a slight breeze out of the east. Absolutely perfect for footy. Today's one of the days you play footy for. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks. First quarter action underway. Here's Michael Maney.
Thanks very much, Neil. Underway. Away we go. Daniel Wicks out of the centre for Sturt. Whiteman just laid it off. Clark Roberts-Thompson gets it to Riley. One of his few appearances for Sturt. Riley wants to go short. The kick not good enough. Chopped off by Harada at half back. Playing in their third straight Anzac Day match, Central District. They would be keen to atone for last year's grand final loss. Harada, one of their grand defenders, just pushes off half back. Kicks down the line. Chopped off by Whiteman. Underrated player, Andrew Whiteman. Been terrific at half back for them. Shoots it across. Riley for his second touch inside a minute. Outer side of the ground. Clogged up forward line. A subdued start to this match. The kick inside 50 is a beauty. It's been marked by Damien Squire. and he will kick from 45 metres out on a slight angle. Tricky breeze probably blowing to right of screen, so Sturt will have the advantage of that in this first term. Damien Squire for the first goal of the Anzac Day clash, round 5 of SANFL footy, sets it up, and I think he might have just pushed it to the near side. He has. So an early score to the Double Blues, kicked by Damien Squire.
Yeah, I think Damien just needs to get a couple of goals early and get his confidence back. I mean, I think he's been down in recent weeks, and I really think a couple of early goals would have just got his confidence back into his game.
Good start for the Double Blues. Going forward, kick comes out over the top. Schooler, no. Wicks far too quick for him. Round on the left leg, hands up in the middle of the ground. He's got somebody to kick to. Knocked away by the Central's defence. Coming quickly. And eventually we'll get a bounce. And no, we won't. We'll get a free kick.
Too high on James Gowans.
Off to Arnott. Coming back after a week out with a thigh injury. Wide to Chris Gowans. Picks up the ball. Eventually steadies. Realises he's got time. Shell comes from behind. Can't get to the ball. That's a good mark. Taken there by Begley. So Begley, who's had a thumb injury, recruited by Adelaide this season. Whiteman almost makes a meal of it on the far side. Finally, he's up and running. Off to Weatherall. Gee, they link well. Begley kicks down towards half forward. Squire the target. Thomas buffets him. Thomas brings the ball to ground. Thomas now in possession in the back.
A couple of interesting matchups. Begley's on Shell, which I knew would be an important one.
Yeah, it's just a nudge in the back there. Thomas goes laterally to off to Hyde, so he's got it at half back. Jeremy off to Hyde. Pretty good against Bradshaw last week. High kick to a contest. Cowan was there. Ball thumped away. They are dangerous here. Cooper, one of the most dangerous ones. The handball out. Weatherall just fumbled slightly. Well done. Balanced. Campbell to Riley, who's covering both sides of the ground. Spearing kick to Feast just outside 50. So the Double Blues building something here.
Riley's hurt himself. He's going to have to come off. I think he's done a shoulder.
Short kick, but it's chopped off by off to Heidi, who go to the outer side. The kick needs to be good. Thomas just around. There goes Brent Riley. That's danger. Over to Quentin Graham. Gets the handball across, looking for Healy. Healy goes down the line. Got a man in Swatala. Swatala for the Bulldogs. Loads up, looks for Shell. Begley there. Just got a hand on it. Rove by Conway. Good play again by Coulter. He's a left footer. He wants to square it up. The kick looked pretty good. Looking for Healy. Beautifully played by the Double Blues defence. Timmy Weatherall just gets the kick away. Only as far as Arnott. Will it sit for him? Just waiting. Got to get round Wicks. Decides to go with the left. Not a good kick. Just an up and under. And Maloney under the footy. Eyes on the football. And the skipper takes the mark at half back.
Chance to check down on the boundary with what's going on with that interchange. Mark Soderstrom's down there.
Onto the ground. Adam Clun has gone onto the ground to replace Brent Riley. The medical staff at Sturt not mucking around. They've taken him straight down the race, and we'll try and get a report on his welfare in a moment now.
Swatala to Graham, and inside 50. Well, Shell missed the mark. Umpire call play on. James Gowans over the ball. Back inside, he looks at the hand pass. Shell, time to turn, steady, then he turns again and into trouble. Hand pass wasn't perfect. Umpire calling play on. Still they're in trouble. Central's finally to Graham from 45 metres. Graham is astray. Well astray, in fact, out in the full. A free kick for Sturt to Xavier Campbell.
Yeah, both sides wasting some opportunities early, but it's going to be tight and tough, I reckon, today. Just another change to the lineup that was in the paper. Conway started first ruck, which I think was sensible. He's in his 150th game against his old club. Lot to play for.
Campbell short to his captain in Maloney, premiership captain last year, standing in, of course, when the captain in Chris Threadgold was dropped for the grand final. Ball inside now to Howman. Weatherall worked the 1-2 nicely. Up towards Feast on the wing. Feast strong mark. Quickly off. Cooper had a great game when we last saw him. Inside 50. Chambers. Inside quickly. Here's Clun just on the ground off the left leg. Clun's shot is a minor score. Bad run with injury last year for Adam Clun. Did a knee.
Good to see him back in action. Great last minute pressure here by Hopwood, just putting him off his kick, forcing it to the near side, but that's good pressure.
Pretty good compliment to be wearing Brodie Atkinson's #2 this year. Adam Clun goes straight up the middle. James, that's Chris Gowans to Slade. Looks for Healy, out of side. Just loves to wheel on that left leg. Just a kick to no one in particular. Maloney just with a double fist. Away they go through Conway. Howman, who loves playing in the Adelaide Oval. His game in the prelim final was great. Sheedy caught with the ball. Josh Coulter wrapping him up in a tackle. And the umpire said no prior.
That's good and close stuff by Centrals. Good pressure and tackling. Something they didn't open with in the 2002 grand final. They're keen to amend.
Schooler got it down. Healy runs into Curtis. In goes young Kellett, who's on the ground wearing number 23, his debut game. Played about 10 minutes in the reserves, Tim, I think, and got the call up with Brent Guerra being a late withdrawal here for Centrals.
Yeah, it's a good way to make your debut. You don't lose that sleepless night, don't you? So you don't have to worry about that. But we were saying off air, Michael, that he looks a lot like the old number 23, Ricky McGowan.
And you said he was a little bit slower, but anyway.
I did not.
Ricky McGowan, that is.
Impossible.
Ball into the forward 50 for Centrals. Paul Howman, polished. Short kick, just spots up Whiteman. Away they go. Wetherell, short kick. Not a good one. Clun. Thought he might have got a free kick for holding the man. In goes Hopwood. Ball spills out. Hay. Got it away to Quentin Graham. Wants to go inboard. It's got Bellow. Bellow with a man running inside in Slade. Slade can load it up inside 50. The kick to Shell's a beauty. Lovely kick.
That's a great kick and nothing you could do about it. Begley's been pretty tight on Shell so far, but when the ball's executed like that, plenty of time in the midfield. He had every right to take that grab.
Daniel Shell was off target, kicked 3 goals, 7 last week.
Yeah, 10 shots is good though, and that's what he's got to take out of the game as a positive.
10 kicks from a full forward, it's a pretty good return. Just get that over 65%, he'll be pretty happy. Daniel Shell from 45 has definitely got the yips at the minute, and that's one behind. Bad miss.
Really sat back on the kick then. That showed a complete lack of confidence. Really sat back on it and tried to stab it.
Daniel Shell has 9 goals, 8 for the season so far. Ball quickly in, Cowan. Off to Arnott, one step, bang, goes as long as possible. Shell held back, umpire said no. Could have been a free kick there, Begley. He's looked good so far. Hand pass over the top, Sturt will come clear. Kick wide, looking for Squire, out of bounds. In front of that Australian flag. What an afternoon, beautiful afternoon here at the Adelaide Oval. Anzac Day, 2003. Andrew Rogers, no movement on the Centrals bench so far? Come to Andrew in a minute. Obviously trouble with the microphone just at the moment. Here's Gowans. Smothered kick. Ball down to half forward. Slade. Couldn't get possession. Howman taking the ground. Umpire called play on. Bellow. Slick hand pass. Arnott knew where he wanted to go. Shell came on the lead from behind. Begley punched away. Curtis wants to break a tackle. Lost the ball. Umpire called too high. A little bit of push and shove. Boys get to know each other. Umpire Tim Pfeiffer comes in and separates.
Yeah, first one was definitely high, just went up around the chin. So you got to pay those, but Central's just anything that's not well, half 50-50 to Shell's been cut off by Begley at the moment. It's been very good.
Arnott again, inside 50, or at least it will be now. Here's the hand pass. Off to Healy, wants his left leg in trouble, gone. I'll try again, Andrew, down on the boundary. Any movement from Centrals?
No movement as yet, Neil. They've just looking for the rotations. I think being a hotter day, I think you'll find they will rotate plenty through the middle.
Whiteman goes to the outer side. Umpire's whistle blows. Free kick will go to Brian Hereda, being held or pushed, one or the other. So Hereda's got the free. Pretty tame start to this game, I'd have to say. Not too many fireworks. The kick by Hereda is looking for Shell. Couldn't get on the end of it. Taken by Slade to Thomas. Thomas sets it up and kicks behind. Now, Mark Soderstrom, what's happening with Brent Riley?
Well, from the Sturt medical bench, not a lot of good news. Brent Riley, suspected broken collarbone.
Oh, there we go, just here.
Oh, it's as simple as that. Crunched in a hip and shoulder. And he's not well. So Sturt come out of defence. A long kick to find Cooper. Cooper did well and then lost the ball. Goes back and gets it. That's his way. He does very well. Begley, not the best option. Got away with it. Did he? No. Follows it up. Well done, James Begley.
He's been great.
Cooper. Well, he decided he couldn't give it up. And in the end he has. But Gowans somehow got it to Coulter. Good pace from Coulter inside 50. Opening goal. He's happy, umpire's not. Minor score.
Well, they had some shots there, haven't they, Centrals? And a lot of the kicks haven't been executed well, but that one was executed well. Just didn't give it enough in the middle. Tried to con the ump.
Tricky breeze here at the Adelaide Oval. The kick out. Healy tried to go to Coulter again. In they go pretty hard. Kicked out of there. Wobbly ball. Swatala has got to go. Got through a couple. Footy still in front of him. Well played, Adam Swatala. And the kick was of beauty to James Gowans.
Nah, that's excellent play through the midfield there. Swatala's ball did well to win that 50-50. Pass was executed beautifully.
James Gowans.
Difficult kick here, Michael. He's got to really start this at the right-hand goalpost and let the breeze do the rest.
Yep, they've had a few tries. And if James Gowans has been watching, and I'm sure he has, he'll know exactly how to kick this ball straight through the middle. James Gowans from 45 metres out. Good looking kick. Goal umpire does a bit of work. I think it's their first goal of the Anzac Day clash goes to the Bulldogs.
And about time too, I reckon they'd be saying to one another, because they've had some pop shots at goal. It's a lot of hard work being done, and eventually a good result. Just watch Swatala here. He has to win this 50-50 through two. They shouldn't have let him get through like Wicks. Really should have nailed a tackle better than that. And his pass was beautiful to James Gowans. And then Andrew Rogers, I'd back him with a kicking for my life. I tell you, he knows exactly where you have to kick that football. And James Gowans must have been listening.
Well, at least I would have got the distance anyway.
All down in the middle. Sturt. Opportunity to come clear through Wicks, who fumbled. Bello came through on the toe. Leads the race for the ball. Bello looks up. Somehow he got clear then. Off to Healy. The long left foot from Healy. Down towards the goal front. Slade just sat and waited for it, and the ball drifted into his arms.
Yeah, I'm going to ask the boys at ground level what that breeze is doing, because it seemed to be swirling around there, and that ball held up for quite a while and then just swung late, and Slade was underneath it. The contest wasn't even with the other two boys. Cowan fighting there.
Well, Timmy, you're right. The breeze is swirling a little bit at the moment. It's blowing probably right across Matthew Slade, so put this out to the right and hopefully bring it back.
Perfect.
They're on fire, the boundary boys. They're on fire.
Anything you can do, Andrew, Mark can do better.
Oh, they've got it. They've got it down pat down there. That was a great piece of play. Centrals are really hot in the middle. One thing I have noticed is that their tackling and their intensity of the ball has been a lot better.
Just the fumble by Damien Wicks coming through the middle. You just can't afford to fumble in a big game like today, and you paid the penalty for it.
We missed the tackle on the other one too, so just going to have to concentrate a little bit harder.
You just get the feeling that Central's intensity here in this first term has really gone up a gear or two. They are hot on it, the Bulldogs. They want this for all money. Up goes Schooler. Everyone missed it. Conway had a second go, still couldn't get it. Chris Gowans was in there, tried the burst through. And we'll have another ball up in the middle.
Yeah, I don't reckon it's a day where a breeze is going to be any sort of advantage either end. I think you're going to be able to kick into it both ways.
Conway and Schooler. Schooler down. Luckily at the back. Check side by Arnott. Wobbly kick to half forward. Thumped away by Whiteman. Rove by Bello. Front and square. Oh, how did he get out of there? Did Bello to Chris Gowans, who gets it to Slade, who kicked the last goal. Brilliant tackle, Jade Sheedy.
And he had to make that tackle too, didn't he? Because Slade was busting through, and their hands were pretty good against Centrals. They were great last week, but that was a superb tackle. Had to be made.
Out of sight, on a lead, Cooper. Cooper spears, looking for Beveridge v Hay. No one can take it. Rove by Roberts Thompson. Has a bounce. Wants to go with the left foot. Hay's not looking too good back there. The kick forward. Quentin Graham takes the mark. Running with a flight of the footy. Graham's got it at half back for the Dogs.
Yeah, we could have another casualty there.
Yeah, Hayes very groggy to say the least. Oh, here's a 3-on-1. Sturt with the numbers and possession. Conway, great hand pass off to Camp, or rather off to Weatherald in the end, and Cooper was the player I was looking for. Now Central's come the other way and come out this side of the ground. They've got a bit of space. Kick sits up. Wicks trying to close down Swatala. In the end, Swatala losing sight of the ball and over his head and out of bounds. Just don't forget at half-time coming up, especially for the Double Blues fans, we're going to have a look at last year's grand final and the highlights of what was a great afternoon, breaking a 26-year drought for the eventual premiers Sturt. Here's Bello over the ball, quickly onto the left foot. He started well, Marco Bello. The Sturt defenders have had to start well. They work it back there in a tight, confined space and eventually get the ball down towards half forward. Schooler, almost beaten in the end, was Conway by the smaller Swatala. And eventually, that might provoke something.
Yeah, it's a little bit vigorous late there by Hopwood. Players pick themselves up. Pretty disciplined these days. Hayes going to have to come off. He's looking very groggy.
Andrew Rogers will be on the job down there just to find out what the extent of the damage is. We'll just have a look at the clash where it happened, and I think it might have been head on ground, but Andrew will find out what the extent of that damage is to Tyson Hayes. Doesn't look the best at the moment.
Headache tablet for him, that's for sure. There he is, taking a seat on the pine, and I would say, boy oh boy, get me one of those headache tablets. Not feeling too good. Schooler is feeling good. Knocked it down. Conway, only as far as Chris Gowans, who stole it. Kick smothered. Maloney to Wicks. Wants to get through a couple. Cop one high on the way through. Daniel Wicks will get a free kick. Starting to hot up now. Sturt is starting to put the foot down. Kick by Wicks. High ball to half forward. They fly. Quentin Graham got the hand on it. Feast. Oh, funny looking handball. Goes to Cooper. Cooper does the donut. Short kick and spots his man. And he gets a free kick and or the mark, Andrew Beveridge. Healy, the man, dishing out the punishment, but Beveridge will kick from 45, and they need this one, the double blues, just to steady things up.
Yeah, Matty Cooper pretty active again. Feast, I know it was a funny looking handball, but he knew what he wanted to do. He knew he had to get it out on the outside, and Cooper, being a left footer, had to swing back in. And they're very disciplined about getting that ball into that 45 zone, into that keyway. Makes it an easy, dead in front shot for Beveridge.
19 career goals for Andrew Beveridge. Is normally a perfect kick of the footy. Just wait on it. Well, it was a good kick. You've got to be good to hit the post.
Yeah, Breezer coming across from his left to his right and didn't give it enough left post.
And boys, Tyson A has come up in his endeavour to spoil there. Obviously landed on his head. He's been replaced by Richard Cochrane.
The Centrals bring it from defence. Thomas spreads it wide to Graham. Then he wants the long kick. Schooler in best position, pushes his man Conway under the ball and couldn't take possession. There's Cochrane at the ball, good hand pass. Gee, they work it well and close. Bello inside 50. Target, well, the kick didn't come off quite, but the target was Shell. It eventually got to him off the left leg. Shell. Well, he can't buy a goal at the moment, and James Begley that might be, who's down after that clash and not feeling the best also. So Sturt perhaps with an injury as well. James Begley looks a little bit shaky, to say the least.
Yeah. In
the same way that Tyson Hay did. Might get a replay of that in a moment.
Bit of movement on the bench there, boys.
Yeah, second game of Matthew Krieg's just come on, and Simon Arnott's having a well-earned rest.
Nelson's got the footy at half-back for the double blues. Kick long, targets Feast in a pack. Ball hits the ground. Cochrane's got to go against Howman. Howman was rugged. Taken away by Whiteman, inside to Wicks. Oh, great evasive skills. Back to Nelson. Oh, Schooler didn't grab hold of him, just wanted to bump him. I think you've got to grab him. Taken by Conway, short kick marked by Maloney, right in the centre of the ground as they work it forward. Great running by Wicks. Wicks, he loves to run, kicks a long ball, a long high ball. Chambers can't take the mark. Rode beautifully by Clun, couldn't gather it. Taken by off to Heidi. The handball. Healy, he's caught. The tackling has gone up a notch. Slade just wobbles around, short kick down the line, wanted the boundary line. Cooper kept it in play, well done, away they go, short kick in, and not well directed. Mark taken by Hopwood at half back. Bit of punishment there, dealt out by Beveridge. Not too much. Hopwood wants to go out wide to Hereda, and the doggies are away.
Now Graham off to Krieg, round on the right foot. What's his kick like? Well, pretty effective. Powell will come from behind. He's just come on the ground. Matthew Powell will get an update in a moment. Ball out of bounds. Now's our chance. Mark Soderstrom.
Well, Neil, James Begley has copped a nasty whack to the head. His nose is bleeding, obviously replaced by Powell. So just the medical staff with him. We'll see if he should be back on soon.
Matthew Slade, the culprit there, right across the bridge of the nose, and no doubt James Begley finding it tough to see at the moment. Umpire didn't miss that high tackle on James Gowans, who'll get a free kick. And that whack across the nose, Tim, enough to make your eyes water for some time.
Yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. Nice little tap there. Gowans been taken high. But that's going to be important for Central, so they can get a few inside 50 here. Shell is a dangerous player, and I reckon Begley was doing a great job on him, so Shell could grow a leg here just in conference now that Begley's off.
Well, Xavier Campbell's gone down to stand him. the taller man in Shell. Here comes Wicks. He's found a little bit of confidence. He's found Beveridge in the centre of the ground. Beveridge driving long, looking for Chambers. Chambers wrestles. Umpire says that's all fair. Eventually the ball comes to with or without the ball. Umpire calls play on. Chambers hand pass off now to Clun. Clun inside back to the man who gave it to him. Feast. They're just sharing the ball and sharing the stats, and eventually the Centrals crowd reacts because the ball's out of bounds due to the pressure of the Centrals defenders.
Well, I once heard a man say if umpires are consistently bad, that's good as well. So I reckon at that particular piece of play, there was probably two holding the mans, one each. And let it go, that's fair enough.
Time on in the opening quarter. Clun with the ball caught. Umpire calls his ball, so there you go.
Off the high, doing a reasonable job on Chambers at the moment. Hasn't been great delivery inside there to him. Always makes it better for the defenders.
By Daniel Cowell, puts the ball down. Clun couldn't get possession, was taken high according to the umpire. So Sturt, free kick. Double Blues fans are happy.
Yeah, that one was blatant and a little bit untidy. And you've got to be careful about giving them away in your defensive 50.
Clun will kick from outside 50, you'd think, into what breeze there is. It might be a worry for him. Sits it up. His aim was to go for Feast. Brought down. Numbers it with Central. Krieg shares it with Slade, who then goes wide. Healy wants the left leg nicely. Just pops it up over the top. Chris Gowans is clear. Nothing much in terms of an exact target, but his kick was great. Just found Coulter on the lead. Swings inside, goes to the open side of the ground. Bellow comes across. Whiteman knocks it away. On the ground again. Wicks almost took ball and head, I thought, but now Wicks has got it clear. And Sturt will come in attack again.
Away they go. Whiteman just delays the handball enough to allow Wicks to run into some space. Good play by the Double Blues. This could be a good build-up. His long kick. Feast on a long lead. Great kick, Danny Wicks. Well, he spotted Feast, who just pointed and said, that's where I want it, and I think he got it lace up, Tim.
Look, it was a good kick. Chambers led first, and it's probably the one I would have gone to because I can't kick far, but the second one went to Feast, and Feast being a left foot, it's not too bad.
Simon Feast. He's missed a fair bit of footy, a little bit of footy with that knee, but he seems to be okay this year. A lot of footy last year. Great shot of it here as Feast sits it up. Not a good kick, just away to the left.
They're a lot deeper than the pockets are a lot deeper than what most people think here, and he was pretty well around there. I thought he would have made a better effort than that one, but that's another one off the hook for Centrals.
Tim, a quick change. James Begley back on the ground for Matthew Powell.
Begley's obviously got the bleeding in the nose under control, and let's hope his head's clear as well. Just a bit of work there for Simon Arnott, I think, on the bench. Might get a word from Andrew in a moment. Just what's going on there. Ball at about the 50, Centrals. Slade, possession. Clun's got a hold of him. He's not going too far. Now they work hard over the ball. Gee, it's tough in there. Umpire makes it tough for him too. Tim Pfeiffer comes in, claims the ball for himself. Andrew.
Yes, Neil, last week Simon Arnott missed last week with a strained drive. It looks to be a similar occurrence. They need to keep it warm, so he's some sort of value for the rest of the day.
Well, Simon Arnott with AFL experience, of course, best and fairest last year, and got 3 McGarry votes against Sturt in round 22 last season, so he's a valuable player. Hopwood, you'd think that was holding the ball. Now Thomas, quick give, Slade, and then off to Cochrane, up towards half forward. Cowan couldn't take down the mark, got a good touch of it anyway. We'll get Tim's opinion as the umpire. No, is he going to come in? He will come in and offer a bounce. Gives Tim an opportunity to offer an opinion on Cowan's mark, or was it?
Yeah, mark and or free kick. I reckon he was taken down maybe even high in the contest. It was a fair effort, and I'll tell you what, he's going to make a contest for him, Cowan. That's one thing I like about him. He's a competitor.
Back in the side today, Cowan, taken away by Curtis, just off a step. Bouncing ball over the top, read by Hopwood. Wanted to knock it to Thomas, got it to him now. Thomas with a left-handed handball, which was terrific to Krieg. Krieg just off the left. Coulter, his handball chopped off. Great tackle by James Gowans. Well, that ends a pretty intense first quarter. Started off a little bit slow, you would have to say. But at quarter time, Central District 2-4-16 didn't quite make enough of their opportunities, I wouldn't have thought, to the Double Blues, who have got 4 behinds. And Tim, pretty good opening to the Anzac Day clash.
It was
round
great
5.
intensity, wasn't it, Michael? I just thought both sides were really crashing in hard, but Central seemed to be the one that lifted the intensity for mine. They're very disappointed, obviously, with the result of last year's grand final, and they opened up well, but could have been 4-2 rather than 2-4.
Gee, Tim, they opened up well, all right, and in particular, their tackling was something to behold. In fact, the tackling from both sides was something to see.
Certainly was. Sturt's defence, which is a very good one, was working overtime a lot because Central's won the midfield battles. They were in hard. Sturt opened up not too bad early with Cooper getting a few touches, but Central's more numbers around the football really have crumbed well and fought hard at ground level, tackled particularly well. Look at that, that's an absolute beauty. Just squeezed out a kick. Ended up being a goal because of Switala's efforts here, cutting through 2 players and then hitting James Gowans with a beautiful pass.
Also too, I thought Daniel Wicks looked like he might have been carrying an injury early on. It seemed like he just didn't quite make to the ball then.
It took a long time to settle down. He let that tackle go through. He missed a ball earlier as well, and that one there, which cost him another goal. Now, after that, he settled down and started to get into his game, which is running over lines and cutting them up, and he started to come back to that. So Brenton Phillips would say, okay, that's our settling down quarter out the way. Let's really lift our intensity in this term and get back into this contest, because you can kick into that breeze because it is swirling around, not really favouring either end with any great advantage.
Well, you mentioned Brenton Phillips and what he might be saying to the Sturt players. We're going to have a listen to the huddle down there on the ground.
Boys, what about that? Well, scrap. You go forward. Okay, come around the front here.
Well, Brenton Phillips obviously not too happy having the microphone just there over the huddle. Sturt really not getting on top yet. The game is a little bit of I suppose a bit of an arm wrestle at the moment. Central have made the most of their opportunities, kicking 2 goals, and Brenton Phillips, I think the 3 things on the top of his agenda are run, give and respect, and that's the motto that Sturt need to go by. At the moment they're not, so we'll head over to Andrew, who's in the Central Districts camp.
Just a problem there, obviously, with the microphone for Andrew Rogers, but gee, from the Central point of view, that's not a bad start, let's face it.
Yeah, I think Roy Laird would be happy with the intensity and the way they got numbers around the football, but maybe disappointed with 2 goals for. I think some opportunities there. Shell was one of them. They could have been 4-2 quite easily, but Shell does have a bit of a problem at the moment in front of goal. He's got the yips at the moment, but he's good enough player to just settle down. Once he gets 1 goal, that could be enough to get his confidence back.
And we're going to try for Andrew down on the ground again.
Yes, and Roy Laird was extremely happy with the pressure through the midfield. He's really happy with his on-ballers. Sturt are getting no room in around the footy, so his on-ballers are really at him. That has singled out the defence as being exceptional so far. Just wants a little bit more out of his forwards to hold the ball in the area. If they can hold the ball in the area, they can really make Sturt pay in this quarter. Thanks, Neil.
Thanks for that, Andrew. Look at the goal kickers. Fairly straightforward, aren't they?
Well, that's easy, isn't it? Clean slate on the Sturt side, and Central Districts, James Gowans and Slade, 1 apiece.
And what do you make of the stats as we glance at those?
Well, it looks reasonably even on paper there, but I just felt that Central's crumbed the ball better. They got in front and square pretty much all the time, and it was right about their defence. They were outstanding, off the hide on Chambers. Ball wasn't being delivered all that well though by Sturt midfield, but that's pressure.
Just a reminder about half-time, and just a look again at that great grand final we saw last season. Central's at that stage reigning premier of 2 seasons, coming up against Sturt, and the Sturt Football Club without a premiership since 1976 going into that grand final last season. So plenty to look forward to at half-time.
Just the great thing about grand final day, isn't it? Anything can happen, and Sturt turned it on right from the start and caused a big upset.
And tomorrow's game, we've got a doubleheader this weekend. Of course, Sturt Central today. Tomorrow's game, the Eagles against North Adelaide. North not travelling too well on and off the ground. The Eagles, well, they'll need a win, let's face it. Tonight, of course, a game, Norwood versus South, and then Westies against the Bays tomorrow as well.
Pretty even round of football. North not far off the mark. I think that, it'll be not too long before they do chalk up a win. Whether it's against the Eagles, I doubt it.
It seemed as if, though, the Roosters had recruited so well.
Yeah, well, look, like I said, a lot of those players have to get used to playing with one another, and Port Adelaide a similar sort of scenario. So, yeah, once they get balanced, and it's the main thing about having depth in your squad, and that's what Daryl Hart's gone for this year.
Well, Central's and Sturt here at the Adelaide Oval. Central's by 12 points at the moment. It's not been a bad start, has it?
Oh, look, it's not too bad a start, but I think they really want to go on with it with this term. They know that Sturt are a good side and one that can come back at any time. Their defence held up reasonably well, Sturt. It's now their midfield that has to lift. I thought Conway gave him a bit of a battle in the middle with Schooler. It's been a fairly even tussle, but he'll always give him a chance at first look at the football. So the likes of Cooper, who had a reasonable first term, but Squire cutting through there, just rotating. They're just going to make sure they get plenty of the football.
Well, Sturt come in waves, don't they? I mean, that's the thing. They can hurt you very quickly.
Once they get hold of the ball, they really can. They run and they run and they give and they give. And I think stats so far through this whole season have shown that Centrals have, nearly half the handballs that Sturt have.
We'll see how the second quarter goes. Here's Michael Maney with a first bounce.
Round into quarter two, I should say. Sturt v Central District underway. Conway probably got the best of that. Cooper got the lightning handball out to Roberts Thompson. He kicks forward. It's kicked to no one. Hereda leads in the race to the footy, and I think he's happy to see it roll out. So good centre break for the Double Blues. Some quick hands there, and Roberts Thompson kick could have been a little bit better. Just into space. 12 points the difference. Back into play. Hereda does the rucking. Feast also. Trying to get through his hay. It's locked up. It's like he's recovered from that very heavy knock to the head in the first term. Tyson Hay, good to see him back in the fray. It's Cooper getting a bit of a nudge from Quentin Graham. Feast probably got the better of that. Cooper, always dangerous, knocked his own teammate Weatherall out of the way. Taken by Cooper. He's got a roving commission at half forward. Short kick and finds Cooper. Cooper, a couple of kicks out from goal, you'd have to say. Will try and square it up. Good looking kick. Chambers on, flies, can't take the mark. Taken by Powell. Good handball to Weatherall. Around the body, Tim Weatherall. First goal for the Double Blues. Well, it's taken them to the 1.5 minute mark of the second term. So that is a classy goal by Tim Weatherall.
It's a great goal. Didn't have a lot of time to kick it, but knew exactly what he had to shape the football and get it on the end. But great work by Matty Powell. He's been alive around the packs, in this first minute of play, which is really what they wanted. They lacked in that first term, where Centrals were all over him. But that was good play in the end. He got to the front and centre of the crumb, which Centrals have been cleaning up in the first term, and that created the goal.
Matthew Powell, Jack Addy medalist in the grand final last season for best on ground. Stirred down by a goal, Centrals. Off to Thomas. Thomas, good skills, both sides of the body. Looks inside 50. Coming back, Maloney. Brave from him, knocked it away. Then the crumb. He's a left footer, but he uses the right leg. Out towards the wing. Hicks pushed under it. Squire got it away from Arnott. He'll be tested with that leg now. Arnott, though, good enough to get the hand pass to Thomas. Another possession. Back inside the forward 50. Cowan pushed under it. Got away with it, did Brett Howman. The mark. He's been very dependable at centre half back. Howman breaks to the far side. Feast comes for him. Feast will mark it. Thank you, Simon. I saw the second knockdown and thought, oh, he's made me look silly, but not this time. Inside the forward 50. Chambers meets it, can't pull it down. Now he's going to thump Hereda into the turf.
I think he's frustrated, to tell you the truth, Neil. I think that was a mark in the making, and then he was pushed fairly hard in the back and might have received a free kick for interference.
Just outside, attacking 50 for the Double Blues. Weatherall tries to get through, locked up in the tackle. Umpire says, that's umpire Tony Day coming in and saying, give it to me, boys. Heath Hopwood in there.
Interesting, Chambers leading that side of the ground too, because that's the way to kick the goals. Have the breeze coming across your body that side.
Drawing it right to left.
Might just have been a little bit wide, the lead though.
Feast doing the ruck work on the forward line, down to Nelson, who just got it into the path of Weatherall. Good tackle by Thomas, but it was front on. Advantage rule was paid. Away goes Sheedy. Roberts Thompson dishes off to Maloney off a step, who looks for Chambers, who got to the front position. Schooler tried to do the roving, was good enough to get it to Arnott. So they work overtime. Hay to Thomas. Oh, hospital handball. Well played by Gowans. Brilliant play to Hay, who loads up a long kick. On a long lead was Coulter. Well played, Howman. Speedy Slade to James Gowans. Will kick with the left boot, right, left, doesn't worry the Gowans twins. Looking for Shell, who's forced to go for the punch behind. In goes young Kellett. They gang tackle him, and the umpire will ball it up.
Some really good pieces of play all along there. James Gowans took 2 looks at his kick, made sure there was somebody there to kick to.
Let's look at the Sturt bench there. Young Clun, closest to camera. Oh, that'll be a free kick. No. Well, thought the Sturt player was thrown to ground. Sturt eventually threw Curtis over the ball on the far side of the ground. They're in defence at the moment. Slade, he's been very good early for Centrals. That no exception. Bello spots up Cowan in the middle of the ground. Cowan 10 metres clear, able to go back and have a shot for goal. Tim, what did you think of that passage?
Yeah, that broke it up, didn't it? Good work by Slade, getting it out the back door to Bello. And then all the Sturt players have been sort of drawn into the play in the pocket. Central's forwards just stood out. Luke Cowan was one of them.
Well, barely 5 minutes into the second quarter. Central's a chance to kick a goal to the right of screen for the first time in the match. So here comes Cowan, lays back on the kick. It's pretty good, fading to the right. Minor score.
That went a long way, didn't it? You're really going to have to give it more left post than that. And not going to be easy, obviously, to kick goals at that end.
He sat it up pretty high, didn't he? And just didn't really spear it through. That's what he needed to do, I suppose. Anyway, Maloney, long kick at the back. Conway, big leap. At the front of the pack, Sheedy, always there. Campbell, good-looking kick, looking for Beveridge. And Quentin Graham have got a very handy fist on it. Toward the line, kept it in. Well played by Arnott to Healy. Healy sits a long ball, looking for Shell. Shell can't get there. The mark taken by Begley, who wants to go away. Handball to the run of Curtis. Oh, chopped off brilliantly by James Gowans. Has a bounce, works inside. The handball to brother Chris. Underground handball, not good enough. Chopped off by Begley. Read it well. Probably a little bit fancy by the twins there. Wicks got it down. Wetherill, handball chopped off by first gamer in Kellett. Off a leg, good kick. Chris Gowans.
Well, that's an opportunity for Chris to make up for this now, Chris Gowans, because James Gowans' effort was actually excellent. The handball to him, but then Chris should have gone that first option. He looked at Shell and then chose not to give it. That was the option. And always, I believe, your first thought's your best thought. But now he's got an opportunity to make up for it with the turnover.
Steady play by young Kellett. Very composed. Chris Gowans needs to draw it left to right and just overcompensates, I think. So they're missing them from that end.
Yeah, well, he knew what to do. He knew he wanted to go left, and hopefully the wind bring it back, but it was too good a kick. Kept its line, but you're right, young Kellett, his first game, showed a lot of poise to keep his head and deliver.
Campbell to bring the ball in for Sturt. Long option, down the middle. Maloney is the target. Oh, a couple of Central's boys spoil each other. The numbers where you think were with Sturt. James Gowans came crashing through, and now Slade catches Wetherill too high. Play on, advantage. Cooper down to half forward. Poor kick. Didn't quite make his target, leading out. And Swatala intercepts. Far side of the ground. Bello in a bit of space. Has a look up. Selects the target. The target's Shell. Shell will come from behind. Shell, 1, 2, almost, no. Chris Gowans tied up.
Good decision in the end. He never actually controlled the footy. So, good decision by Daniel Cowley. Just his second effort wasn't quite clean enough to pay the mark, and it hit the deck.
Sturt. Ball somehow got to ground then after the bounce. Now, that one's too high. Cooper made the most of it. Umpire calls play on. So again, advantage to Sturt. In a bit of space, down towards half forward. Nelson hasn't been in the game much this afternoon thus far. Has been well held, and Hopwood takes the ball across the line for Centrals. 8 points the margin, and coming up at half time, the 2002 Grand Final review. Just having a look at how Sturt won their 13th premiership.
I think it would have been reviewed a few times down at Unley.
Certainly would have done. Away go Centrals. Well, just lost it there for a moment, James Gowans, but it was good enough to get it back. Well played to Healy. Thumping left foot kick, inside 50. Up they go, Cowan. Great mark on the lead. Luke Cowan. Can he make up for an earlier miss? Wants to give it off short, decides to sit it up. Well, they just sit it up for Shell. Coming away and thumping it away was the defence of Sturt. Well taken. This is a young man in Kellett. This way, that way. Short kick, spears it in. Gowans can't take the mark. Pressure from Maloney. Good enough to get his own ball. A little bit slow. Fox the handball out to Arnott, who squeezed one out. High ball, but it's all the double blues. The mark taken by Xavier Campbell at half back. Lays it off. Begley. They switch it again. Campbell has got a spot at target. He's got a couple. Bishop's one of them. In assistance, Nelson does the shepherding. Bishop, well, the kick smothered. Just sat on, waited a little bit too long.
Yeah, that's good smother though. That's the 1%ers that just keeps the ball in the forward 50, keeps you alive. Another opportunity at goal. A few mistakes there, that long clean takes from a few of the Centrals lads, which is a little bit unusual.
Yeah, Chris Gowans in particular.
Yes.
Sturt with the numbers around the ball. Howman out of the pack, wants the boundary. Beveridge wants it to stay in, and why not? Now he's got possession, waited. Now he's set up his teammate in Sheedy, who was good enough to find somebody behind him. Oh,
Pressure.
Whiteman under pressure. Coulter dives in. Whiteman looks to be in a bit of pain down there.
Yeah, it took the legs
away
from under him.
Yeah, just rolling away from the pack. But they'll all get up. And Andrew, or rather Sodas, I think, you could tell us Aaron Bishop just came on, did he? I missed that one.
Yeah, he did come on. Mark Conway having a rest in his 150th game.
Former Centrals player Mark Conway started in the ruck, as picked by Tim Ginniver. Here's Arnott, inside 50, again the target is Shell, again opposed to Begley. Umpire comes in and says this time it's a free kick, and this time against Shell. Well, that's not going to please the Centrals fans. Although, if they could see it on the big screen, if there was one here, I don't think they'd have much argument. Bishop, as we said, came on the ground for Conway. Good mark.
Schooler had to punch that back into play then. That's just a discipline move.
Campbell, his kick was very good. Big man in Nelson takes it. Not in height, but certainly in strength. He's a big man. Nelson goes down the wing. His target is Squire. From behind Hopwood, knocks it away out of bounds. Central's defence is tight. The game is tight. 8 points the margin.
Yeah, you'd say Sturt would be pretty happy with only being 8 points behind, because they really haven't had enough of the football for mine at ground level. Centrals have dominated in the pressure area as well.
Well, umpires picked out a free kick. It's going to Centrals. It's coming back to Hereda. Switches play, looks for Arnott.
He's been good today.
Yep, he has. Coming back from injury. Bello provides the lead. Whiteman's right there. Did give away the free kick, or did Bello take the mark? I think Bello might have just got it in the second grab. Quick hands to Arnott, to Thomas. Well, they're up on their handball count, Centrals. They're matching it with Sturt. There's Thomas with plenty of toe. Would have liked the kick back. Bishop just sitting back, kick behind the play. With a strong mark to Campbell. Squire's loose. He hasn't had much of the footy today, Damien Squire. Just wants it to sit for him. Clever enough to just paddle it forward. Well played by Slade. Good hustling. Squire just gets another thump down. It goes out of bounds. So the battle of a couple of speedsters there.
Just 2 possessions for Squire.
He's carried the ball 20 metres there, and he didn't get rewarded with another position, did he? Unfortunately for him.
And a dual interchange down here, boys. Jason McKenzie comes on for his first run of the day, and Matthew Krieg returns to the fray in case of Simon Arnott.
Well, on the far side of the ground, construction work in the background for a new stand here at the Adelaide Oval. Centrals, again, Kellett looks very much like Rick McGowan. Inside 50, Shell, one out. Shell does well. Shell, the old Shell game, he's just playing with the ball, eventually taken the ground, and Sturt works it over the line.
It's been good on him today, Begley. Very, very good. Not giving him any room to breathe, and he's getting a lot of assistance from the other defenders, which has been great. Campbell on this occasion. Maloney comes in late. Howman. Gee, they work well, that back six.
They do a bit of one-on-one training at the Crows, wouldn't they, those two?
Yeah, Shell and Begley, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Well, Chris Gowan's out of the pack. Beveridge there to snap it up, breaks to the far side of the ground, not a lot on offer, he's going to have to carry it, then is kicked back towards the centre square. Eventually Sturt able to dribble the ball forward. Thomas will intercept it. He's been good so far. Thomas's disposal was perfect and had to be from behind. Beveridge crashed into Bello. Bello, Krieg's in the middle, signalling he wants it. He goes wider than that, far wider than that. Again, perfect disposal by Kellett. in his first match, and he looks a player, doesn't he, as he passes it off to Graham.
I can't believe he must be Rick McGowan's love child. I mean, how much did he look like him on that left foot then?
Yeah.
He's not going to play too much reserves football this year, I wouldn't have thought, from here on in.
Now here's Graham. Shocking kick, told by the crowd that's out in the full.
And talking of David Kellett, he was involved last year in the under-18 carnival in Melbourne, was named All-Australian, so he's certainly a player with plenty of future.
Yes, and if you want to buy this video of this match or other ones that have been this year, phone 0883434601 from the ABC, and we'll be happy to pass those on to you.
At a fee.
At a fee. Thanks, Neil. only a small fee, so I'm told. Bargain basement. So Campbell does the relieving for the Double Blues. High ball to a pack. Mackenzie's on the ground. Spills to Cochrane. Mackenzie, good roving. Big Lungbreen player. Coulter, brilliant smother. That is what Howman is all about. He is desperate.
Yeah, he did a job on Brian Binky a couple of weeks ago at Unley, which I was very impressed with, and just continues to go about his football in a quiet fashion, but very efficient.
And for those Adelaide Crows supporters who are wondering where Brent Riley is in the first quarter, in the first 5 minutes, he's off with a suspected broken collarbone and won't play any more of this match, obviously, or maybe for about 6 weeks. High kick by Nelson at the back. Hopwood, they all flew too early. Hopwood, left footer, just gets it away to Krieg on the left boot. Short kick's a good one. Mackenzie, the big man, wants to spear it inside. Good kick, finds Quentin Graham, who wants to give it off to Hay. To Thomas. Here they go, Centrals. Thomas will kick it long, getting back his shell. He's going to ride for the footy. Is he? Homer! No! Can't take the mark, Shell. He got himself into great position. The handball to Cowan. Doesn't know where to go. When in doubt, go to James Gowans. Gowans kick around the corner is hit the post.
Well, that probably deserved a goal. A sensational bit of play there. Shell did well to follow up his almost mark, but Thomas is carving him up. Thomas has got far too much room at the moment, and he really is doing some damage in the midfield. Just, you mentioned Brent Riley in the first term doing his collarbone, and look at that, just a nice solid bump. It's like knees sometimes when you see him. It doesn't look like much, but it's just hit him on the wrong point and broken his collarbone.
Heath Hopwood, the man coming in. Healy, well, took 3 grabs. Eventually the umpire said that's enough, you can have it. Made it look perhaps harder than it was. 16.5 minute mark in the second term now. 9 points the margin. Centrals could be a lot further in front. Begley opposed to Shell from behind, but Bishop was in front. The redhead.
That's a good mark. Neil really held his head up high and took that.
They work it wide. Nelson coming into the game a bit now. Down the boundary, too far. Out on the full, sloppy from Sturt. Krieg will take the free kick right on centre wing. Inboard, or sloppy from Krieg, but he got away with it. Chris Gowans on the left leg. They work it to the far side of the ground. Thomas has got a bit of space to work with. Breaks, runs. Now he's in trouble. He's run a long way. Ooh, and the umpire let him get away with it to the goal face. And Bishop is back there to take a relieving mark for Sturt. They are under siege at the moment, the Double Blues. But in many ways, they're weathering the siege. Comes out to broadcast side of the ground. Ball thumped away. Well, they look for hand passes that aren't there really, Sturt at the moment. Nelson down towards Cooper. Hay got to the front and was shoved in the back. Umpire quite happy to give a free kick to Hay, who's recovered from taking a knock early. Spent some time on the bench recovering. Campbell pushed off it. Into centre half forward for Cochrane. Just a little toe poke. Finally, Healy on his left leg. You'd think he might be a chance off the side of the boot. Well and truly astray out on the full. Prediction nowhere near correct.
Did not get any purchase on that whatsoever, did he, Healy? But mustn't have been able to turn the ball in time. He's got plenty of time here, but he's just hit it on the right side, hasn't he? Yeah.
Centrals have been inside 15 times this quarter without kicking a goal.
Well, that's right, Moggy. They're just bombing it down there, very one-dimensional to Daniel Shell, and they're not really sort of changing it up. Anyway, long kick, Hereda, diving mark, that's a beauty. Well, pound for pound, one of the best defenders in the SANFL, without a doubt, Hereda. Short kick, had to be good. Quentin Graham couldn't quite take the mark. Picked up by Centrals and booted forward. Good mark by Cochrane.
Well, this game is ready just about to open up for Centrals if they can start getting some scoreboard pressure on with goals, because they're doing all the attacking. Their midfield is well and truly on top. Thomas is killing them from around about half back, where he's running off Squire and Weatherald, who are changing, and he's just doing a real good job on both of them.
Amazing scoreline, 10-19, and we are just about to tick into 19 minutes in the second term. 1 goal in this quarter, kicked by Weatherald at the 1.5 minute mark. So Cochrane looking for Central's 3rd goal of the day, sits it up. It's a good looking kick off the boot, but once again they spray it wide.
But the problem with this, Michael, is what eventually happens is sometimes a team like Sturt can turn it over, get a goal, and then within 3 points. You know, that's the real heartbreaking thing for a side that's been inside 15-1.
Well, Sturt's certainly good enough to take this ball down the ground now. And kick employ goes through Maloney. Maloney was pushed off his kick. Roberts-Thompson came across, no mark. Now they push it forward. They've got the numbers with Weatherald. Weatherald, he can chip to Beveridge. Beveridge in a bit of space. Beveridge inside now to Nelson. Nelson loads up. Not the greatest of kicks off the outside of the boot. Feast came to meet it. It was pushed, I thought, by Off to Heidi. Play on, said the umpire, and now it's too high. Free kick to Centrals.
Well, that's probably the second time Off to Hyde has actually pushed one of the forwards in the back. This time it was Feast and got away with it. So definitely high too in the second tackle.
So here's Schooler. Schooler in short has got Chris Gowans. Almost pressured into, he was pressured by Cooper, didn't get the mark. Up high. No mark. Forward of the pack with the Sturt players. Oh, now Howard's in trouble, or Begley's in trouble. Pulled down by Shell. Umpire said no.
Oh, it's the perfect tackle. It's the perfect tackle when you pin an arm. We saw it last week, and it was Paid holding the ball rightfully, so that's it, you're gone.
Yeah, he's trying, isn't he? But he just didn't dispose of the ball correctly. Umpire said that's fair enough. So Coulter with a big leap over the top for Centrals. Cooper doing all the work hard and low for Sturt. Umpire will come in and bounce it again. It's just inside the centre square towards the central end of the ground, and that margin 10 points, and we're into time on in the second quarter.
But we might have 3 points, maybe 4 points in this. We really have to. One of the sides has to get a goal to really put their ascendancy on it. Centrals can take it away here, or Sturt can get themselves right back in it before half-time. Important 3 to 4 minutes.
The double blues would love a goal. Kicked by Begley out of side on a long lead. Feast waits for it to sit. Can't quite grab it. Got assistance from Danny Wicks. Just dropped to his knees. Once again, got it back. Away they go. Down the lines. Good kick. Looking for Weatherall. Just paddles in front of him. Crowd thought a free kick. In goes Powell. And they just lock it up. Crowd calls ball. And the umpire says, give it to me, we'll have a bounce.
Well, just at times you've got to pay the obvious free kick, and that was an obvious one. And there's been a few go missing. One here at centre half forward, should have been paid to Centrals. One here at half forward, should have been paid to Sturt.
Away we go again. Cooper wants the left leg. Kicks inside 50. It's a high ball. Chambers hasn't had much of it, but he's got this one. Strong mark, Grant Chambers. And he'll kick from 25 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, great one-on-one battle, and eventually you had to get something, but yeah, Off to Hyde's been good on him. Begley's been great on Shell down the other end. Real day for the fullback so far. Important kick for Chambers. 15-1 this year, I believe. Accurate kicking, brilliant. Can he add to it?
Well, he's got rid of the goal kicking yips. I hope we haven't put them back on him. 15-1, great return from the full forward in the Northern Territory. Grant Chambers. Good looking kick. Umpire does a bit of work, but the Double Blues get their second of the term. Good mark, good goal from Grant Chambers. And that's what he's paid for, Tim.
Well, that's exactly what he's paid for. They worked hard for this Sturt. Really pushed the ball up the boundary line with a lot of hard work. The kick came in, still a 50-50. And Chambers just held off to Hyde long enough to take the mark and then really had to slot the goal. That's so important. Could go in at half-time, only 4 points down, which was looking really sad at one stage that Centrals could have blown it out. Centrals wasted opportunities.
Brian Chambers kicked 61 goals, 50 in 2002 in the SANFL, so that's why we thought he might be an iffy prospect, but he's certainly improved his goal kicking this season. He might get another chance here. Feast works to the front, Chambers at the back now. Chambers leads the race to the ball. He's quite slow, and in the end he's run down the ball over the line. Well done by Hay. and all of a sudden Centrals are under pressure.
Very, very good pressure. Couldn't get a better day. Have a look at it. 23 degrees, fine and sunny. That wind a little bit swirly, and some of the short ball handlers haven't been quite there.
Ball thrown in. Feast pushing his man away. Centred in a set play back towards the centre corridor. Umpire will come in and bounce it. Sturt player Clun wanted the free kick. Tim Pfeiffer, the umpire, said, I want the ball. So in front of the big scoreboard, which has the margin at 4 points in favour of Central, Sturt can take the lead with one kick here. Here's Clun. Clun turns it around the corner. No, nowhere near the goal in the end. Krieg comes and meets it. Chest mark for Krieg. Now they work it to the far side of the ground. Thomas looks long, there's nothing much on offer, so just holds the ball up a bit. Then he goes long, and almost a one-hander. Maloney turns it over. Chris Gowans off the left leg, looking for Shell, who's a long way from full forward now, takes a mark. Shell turns around. Cowan, who looks like he's gone to full forward, or Coulter it is. Ball over the back. Howman wants the boundary line, I think. Well done, Brett Howman, got a fist of the ball. Out of bounds. Gee, the ball went down there in a hurry. And Central's now an opportunity inside 50.
Yeah, good call, Neil. I think that has been the move to get Shell out and about and see if they can get his confidence up, take a few marks up the ground.
Boundary throw in. 4 points the difference. Bishop knocked it down perfectly to Weatherall. Doesn't quite know where to go. Bottled it up of Centrals. Weatherall finally goes down the line and finds Clun. Clun's got a bit of pace. He's just about caught. Gets his kick away. Powell will take the mark. What if he go up forward? Chambers is on a long lead. Oh, the kick was a terrible one from Matty Powell. Chambers, can he turn off the Heidi around? He can't. Rows his own ball. Well played by Chambers. Goes with the left boot. Getting back is Arnott, can't take the mark. Ball thumped away, taken by Healy. Now the rebound footy. Here goes the Bulldogs. Mark taken by Quentin Graham. Graham goes short. Siren time. It's half time at the Adelaide Oval. What a quarter of footy. Only a couple of goals kicked in that first term, as a couple of goals only kicked in the first term. 2-8-20 Centrals to Sturt 2-4-16. About to go in the third quarter. Bishop is going to do the ruck work in this to start off this third term for the Double Blues up against Schooler. Away they go. Schooler somehow got it down. Bishop, second effort was good. Big pack of players will have another go at it. And, gee, important third term. 4 goals only kicked in this match so far. Is it going to break open? When will it break open? We've certainly seen an arm wrestle in the first half. Will we see a more free-flowing game in the second half? Ball in the centre, taken by Healy. The ball just squeezed out to Healy off the right leg. Cowan couldn't take the mark. Coulter thought he might have been held without the footy. Crowd agreed. Coulter laid off the handball to Cowan. Cowan over the top to Cochrane. Cochrane somehow got it to Slade, I think it was, or maybe it's got to come back, does it? I think it's a goal. It's a goal to the Doggies. And Slade kicks the first one of the third term.
Well, that is more like Central Districts. Some of the handball work in there was so slick and hitting its targets. That's what they were like last week, and this week, that's more like it. Really good work there. Cochrane's handball to Slade to finish it off was probably the best of the 3. Very good work in close. Like I said, this is the third term. This is where one side or the other wants to get a break on the other, and Centrals have started it well.
Sturt opening the scoring in the first quarter in the first 90 seconds, and then kicking a goal through Weatherald in the first 90 seconds of the second quarter. And it's Centrals this time to start the second half with the advantage very early back in the centre. No fast break that time. Yes. Some of the Sturt supporters
still happy.
Still happy, yes. See what they're like in another hour or so. Well, a no contest there in the end. No player able to get it down. Nelson was astray with his handball. Hopwood over the shoulder, down inside 50, coming back strong, mark by Howman.
I gave him a bit of a rap early in the day, and just keeps continuing to impress. It's a very good mark.
Ball slow to come back. It's made it hard for Howman. Kicks long towards the wing. Feast up in front. Harada came from behind, just able to get it away. Waitman down the line towards Clun, over his head. Looked to get a shove on the back from Graham. Wicks, the speedster. Can he get a foot on the ball? No. Great effort from Hopwood diving across. Sturt's with Clun. Taken high, the umpire said.
That's unfortunate. He sort of ducked the armadillo headwear just at the last minute. That was a great effort by Hopwood because they were well and truly away there.
There wasn't much in that free kick, was there?
No free kick, I don't believe, but great effort by Hopwood because Wicks could have well and truly carried the mail.
Clun centres the ball brilliantly. Feast on the lead. And he's had, I don't know, a feast of possession, but he's had some possession today, Ian Mogridge.
He's coming up for number 7, 3 kicks, 3 handballs, 5 marks.
More known as a ruckman feast, but playing as a key forward this afternoon.
And boys, let's see if he's learnt from his first kick he had in the first quarter and starts. He's just at the left-hand goal post.
So long ago I can't remember it, and he hasn't learned anyway. Obviously he's forgotten as well.
Well, that went away, went further, sliced away, but I was going to say the mark was pretty good because at this time of the day, coming straight out at that pass that was delivered to him, he would have been looking straight into the sun, so he didn't flinch and took the mark well.
That breeze has been fluky all day. Hay got it to the outer side, kicked down the line, marked by Schooler at half-back. Got a man in Gowans, but Sheedy good enough to come over the top and thump it away. Maybe a free kick was paid. Advantage rule picked up by Cochrane. Kick. Chris Gowans lays it off to Healy, who went without the footy, wants to go back on the right. Here it comes to Chris Gowans, to Cowan. Handball over the top. Oh, poor one. Chopped off. Away they go through Campbell. Long kick to the wing, foot brace, Hereda. I think Hopwood might get there first and just kicked it out of bounds deliberately. Will the umpire call deliberate or not? No. Tim Geneva.
Absolutely not, no. Poor old Hopwood, it looked like he had cement in his back because he didn't want to get down there and pick it up. Lobbed it right on the boot and got it out of bounds. I'll tell you what, I might check with Mark Soderstrom. I reckon that wind has dropped.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. It has just about died down. You can see from the flags on the scoreboard just about a limp.
We might see some goal kicking, hopefully, in this term. There's already been one on the board. That kick by Slade in the first minute of the term. And there he is, Matthew Slade. Kicked a couple today. A bit worse for wear.
Yeah, just picks himself up. Just fell over the top of that contest, but he works hard. I really like him as a player.
Right ankle, a bit of a problem for Slade as the ball comes in. Feast at the front, approach to Hereda. James Gowans looked to slide in the tackle.
Just when the ball goes up forward for Sturt, Feast does the ruck work, which is great because he's a very talented ruckman. But Hereda doing the ruck work for Centrals doesn't give us a bigger advantage, so it's more important for their midfield to be in front.
Weatherall smothered partly. Slade, who we know is not moving too well. Arnott, who's also got a problem with his driver, up towards centre wing. From behind, Bishop brings it to the front and centre, were a couple of players.
Yeah, Neil Bishop there's just got to call Maloney in. Maloney's the front man. He's underneath it. Call him in, tell him he's got time, and hold a defender away from him.
So true centre wing. Maloney comes over the top and does Bishop a favour this time, and Cochrane allowed to play on by the umpire. Now the kick up forward, Shell on the dive, no mark. Sturt relieve the pressure again, or do they? They're under pressure back there. Away comes Begley. Begley to Cooper. Cooper hasn't got a free man down on his left side, so he waits and waits. Lead coming from Wicks. Goes long looking for that player. It's over his head. Bishop goes back into the pack, and eventually they all leave it for Hereda. Off to Hopwood. In turn, Healy wants the left leg, steps inside, in trouble, gone. Umpire penalises him. The tackle made there by Sturt, and the umpire this time, Tim Pfeiffer, who called play on before to favour Centrals, this time pulls the ball back, and Ben Nelson with the free kick. Whiteman out here on this side. Hopwood comes across, knocks it away. Slade comes in, gets a shepherd from Hopwood. Now he's in trouble, Slade. They almost muck it up, Centrals. Slade, great hand pass there coming from Chris Gowans. Hopwood on the boot quickly. Bishop favoured by the kick. Cannoned into. Just a bit late. And Cowan looks like he's coming off the ground for Mackenzie.
Campbell from half-back for the double blues. Good kick finds Wicks. Good lead by Wicks. Looks like he's covering across half-forward. Chambers give the lead. And then Wicks goes long to a vacant goal square. Ball bounces through for one behind. Chambers gave the lead, but Wicks saw the open square and went for it.
I don't mind that. I mean, if you're in range, go for it. And unfortunately, Feast did the right thing. He tried to shepherd it through, but the ball did not kick to the left as they would have liked. Nice little leg break would have been perfect. Cowan coming off the ground.
Centrals have put all their cards on the table there now, just sitting down. Mackenzie you've just seen come on, Kellett, and all their guns are on the ground now, so it's make or break time for Centrals.
Graham through half back, delivers down towards half forward, true centre half forward. Campbell, good mark. Just getting Mackenzie off the ball and too much pace. Shares it now with Curtis, hasn't had many touches. Curtis won't be happy with that one either. Healy fumbles it, Cooper was good enough. Hand pass out, well gathered by Whiteman. Whiteman now in a lot of traffic, did very well. Into Clun, Clun one way, then the other. 3 or 4 dummies eventually onto the boot down towards centre half forward. Powell came across. There was a fist in there from a Centrals defender. Clun tidies up his own work, then goes down the line, not the best of kicks. He'll want the boundary in the end, and he gets it at half forward. Out of bounds. 26 plays 18. Centrals leading. 8 minutes in and counting in the third term.
You're certainly going to earn your possessions, aren't you, today? Everybody is onto them, and the slightest little mistake is being capitalised on by the opposition.
Sturt looked to bring the ball to the back. Thomas was awake to it and took it for Centrals and then thrown to ground. Beautiful lush surface on a wonderful afternoon. Anzac Day 2003. Great scene, the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, you don't often see this ground in any condition but.
Just to measure the pressure that Sturt have been under, the leading kick possession getter for Sturt is Xavier Campbell on the last line of defence with 17.
Well, that gives you an idea of how many times it's been down there.
To measure 2 of Sturt's defence, it's very good. In fact, I think it's the number 1 and number 2 attacking sides and number 1 and 2 defensive sides in the competition. So far this afternoon, defence been on top. Maloney comes over for Sturt. Ball to ground again. We'll get the third bounce, and no, we won't. We'll get a free kick to Hopwood.
Just seemed like one of those clearing decisions. Let's clear the player.
It's been effective with Hopwood kicking down the line. Shell at the back. Bishop. Well, that's 2 or 3 he's taken in this quarter. Reading the kick behind play pretty well. Gives a bit of ground to Howman. In fact, it's Begley. Begley gives back to Curtis. So they go round in circles. Howman's got it now. Mackenzie just about to smother. High ball. Cooper v Hopwood. And the ball dumped out of bounds by Hopwood.
Yeah, best result Cooper could have hoped for. Come across and punch it out of bounds.
And I think importantly for Centrals, with Mackenzie coming on, Scholars moved to full forward and provided a mismatch with Xavier Campbell.
Well picked up Andrew. Mackenzie, double-hander, down to Chris Gowns, couldn't take it. Bellay's in there as well. Big pack of players. We've seen plenty of those today. Been a pretty physical clash. And we'll have another bounce. 10.5 minutes, just about. Third term.
A lot of players around this contest on this centre wing. Members' side, it is packed with players.
Just kicking a bit in it. Oh, Nelson got taken by Gowns, kicked off the ground, down the line. Slade's got to go, along with Whiteman. You'll know Whiteman will go, that's for sure. Ball dribbles out of bounds.
Yeah, both players pretty good commitment at this. Whiteman did well to get his head over the football. Slade had to make the contest.
Important stage of the third term. Ball in, Mackenzie just taps it down on the path of Bello. Received it from Swatala. Bello from the boundary. What's his shot like? No. Straight across the goals and out on the full according to the umpire. So Sturt will break to the far side. Campbell's running. Campbell has the ball now. He looks up. They're coming through the centre. That's the way he wants to go. Sets up Sheedy. Was good enough to get a hand pass on. Begley looked to break a tackle. Couldn't get through. Now Gowan's taken the ground. Centre half back for Sturt.
Well, Central to be happy with holding that one in their forward zone because that looked like it should have been away.
That's their bread and butter, Sturt, isn't it?
Well, Brendan Phillips not happy with it, as you can see. David Grenvold behind him. Just can understand that movement then.
A lot of talk before the grand final last year about how Sturt was going to break the grip Central seemed to have on them. They managed to do it. This afternoon they're now managing to do it. Well, no, the hand pass was astray. Maloney cleans it up. Hand pass off quickly from 45 metres. The goal will surely be scored by Chambers now, who takes the mark in the goal square.
Well, 16 goals won and about 15 metres out.
Now Roberts Thompson getting that kick away just in time. 45 metres out, and then it limped about 30 metres and then fell in the arms of Grant Chambers.
But the miss kick was definitely to advantage to Chambers in the end. He'd lost off the height, going back to the square, turned around, the missed kick hitting on the chest.
Chambers with 1 goal this afternoon. Umpire doesn't move. He's got 2 for the afternoon. And 2 points is the margin. Sturt trailing Central by 2 points. And we've played 12.5 minutes in the third term. And this is one of the first times this afternoon Sturt has been able to get numbers breaking through the midfield.
Yes, as clean as they've had an entry inside 50. And still 1 handball missing its target. Clun missing Maloney. Maloney had to make up for it. And the kick, a missed kick, but to the advantage of Chambers, who for limited opportunities has made the most of it.
It's taken 2.5 quarters for a goal to be kicked at the southern end.
Thanks, Boggy. Back to 2 points the difference. Gowans, did he get rid of that? Took the ball out of the ruck, technically. Umpire said, give it to me. Matthew Primus rule, isn't it?
Got to be careful of that, don't you?
There's Simon Arnott having some work done on that leg. He's been having a fair bit of treatment. Knock forward. Weatherall. No push in the back. Gowans to Bello. Thought he was pushed in the back. Taken by Chris Gowans. He gets it away to Coulter. Here's Slade. He's kicked 2. Spearing pass. Beautiful to Chris Gowans. Gowans 35 metres in closing. Has he kicked it? He likes it. Goal umpire says it's a goal. Oh, they're starting to go goal for goal here. This is where it could break up.
Well, this is what we expected in the third term. Wind dropped a little, and it's a must contest. Slade's little centering kick was brilliant, but a lot of hard work done to get that, push that ball, bulldoze that ball forward into the forward 50. Chris Gowan's a big part of that. Finishes off beautifully here, had to do it. A must goal. Sent the goal umpire galloping it, but as you can see on goal umpire cam, it was definitely between the white sticks.
So 1-1 for Chris Gowans. Centrals now back to an 8-point lead. Bishop tap in the middle. Sheedy unable to break out of there. The numbers crowd in over the ball. Secondary bounce. Bello going for a wander.
Yeah, just part of that midfield rotation.
Yeah, it's Marco Bello going off for a rest just to freshen himself up for the last quarter, and David Keller gets another opportunity.
Sheedy couldn't get a hand on the ball. Awkward bounce. Krieg was good enough to kick it down to centre half forward. Howman just couldn't get the ball forward well enough. And so the ball dribbles over the back. Healy was first to recover. Opposed to Begley, goes to ground. Healy in trouble. Somehow got a hand pass out. Howman kept on his feet, was bundled into the ground. Wait on the umpire. The umpire decides not one way or the other, opting to call for possession himself. Kellett, the man making that tackle, and
A good effort just to twist him at the right time, didn't fall into his back. Good tackle from a young man. Central's again holding it in their forward 50 with desperation.
Central's making a surge. Cochrane out of the pack! No, minor score.
That was a very good quick kick. Intelligent stuff, knew had no time, had to quickly get it on the boot. And sometimes you make something out of nothing here. Look at that, so close.
Couple of behinds to Cochrane today. That would have been a brilliant goal. Campbell will do the kicking out. Umpire gives him the hurry up and says, come on, we'll take it off you. Long kick, targets Conway. Shill! Just came from behind, right in the middle, lays it off to Slade. Slade's got a man on his own at half forward, and he takes the mark, and that's that young man in Kellett.
Not sure about his leg, whether he'll make the distance here, but that's a great grab by Shell. He's got the forward pocket roll now, a bit of a free one. He can roam around wherever, playing a 3-man forward line. Had Healy at centre half forward, Schooler at full forward.
Will kick from right on 50, the young man. Wants to go short and does.
Was obviously out of his range and was looking.
Krieg takes the mark, just slightly on an angle, you'd have to say, about 40 metres out, where James Begley stands the mark. As Matthew Krieg doesn't have a goal today.
He's impressed me last week. I really enjoyed his game, and again finding a bit of it.
Held his spot, sits it up. Oh, not a good kick. It goes wide. Slade's there. Also Weatherall played for the free kick. Umpire had none of it. Throw it back in.
Well, I didn't say he impressed me in front of goal, but, but that right across the front. Got a bit too close to the man on the mark. Had to pull it up.
Massive players round the footy inside 50 for the Dogs. Kicked off the ground. Ball just rolls through. Curtis takes it across. Another behind to the Bulldogs.
You know, in football matches you have those 10 or 15 minute pieces of play where you dominate momentum. Centrals just haven't made the most of theirs, unfortunately. And haven't been able to put it on the scoreboard. Sturt just keep getting that important goal to keep themselves in the contest.
Feast from behind. Ball to ground. Sheedy hasn't had a lot of it this afternoon. Wheels around, left leg was good, found Weatherall. Together they shared the McGarry medal last season. Weatherall wide, not the greatest of kicks. Howman brought it to ground for Clun. Clun couldn't rove it. Swatala did very well. Swatala inside with a hand pass to James Gowans and then Slade. Hay. Great kick from Hay. Cochrane inside Healy. Healy building with the left leg. You'd want the left. He takes the right, but he was good enough. His vision was perfect. Krieg is running for Shell. Shell turns it around the corner and turns it over. Sturt will come out of defence here, surely. They will. And they blew it, didn't they, Tim?
There's just some moments that you want to take back.
Goal kicking yips.
Yes, perhaps.
Here's Sheedy again, racking a couple of possessions up. From behind comes Feast and knocks it down to Clun. Forward of the play was Powell. Powell with a bounce. An option inside 50. What does he do? Over the top, looks for Chambers. Backing up, Chambers can't take the mark. Was pushed. Umpire said all's fair. So Centrals with a chance to relieve. Here's Slade at half-back.
Slade from half-back for the Bulldogs. Gets around somehow. Oh, handball under pressure. Hopwood couldn't take it. It was a poor ball. Kellett was there. On hands and knees. Hopwood tries to make amends. Cooper caught by Hay. No prior opportunity. Good decision, umpire.
Shell taken from the ground.
Yes, Daniel Shell being taken off with an indiscretion, and Cowans returns to the fray.
Guys, next 10 minutes, the intensity is really lifted in this game, and if you're going to make some blues, you'll be found out.
Oh, the pressure has gone up. Maloney went through his legs. Nelson, Chris Gowans was there. In goes Powell, burrows his way through. McKenzie on top of him. Squire couldn't take a clean possession. Goes to ground. I thought he might have got a free kick there. And the umpire agreed, and Damien Squire for a high tackle front on by Chris Gowans. Squire's away, the lead's by Chambers. Poor kick by Squire. Loose ball, Hahn can grab it. In goes Quentin Graham, taken by Nelson. Picked up by Roberts Thompson. Hit the post.
Right in the middle of it. God, it's got exciting now. The tempo is definitely lifted. Thompson right in the middle of that pad. That is a behind. Goal umpire Cam working beautifully, but we've had a 50-metre penalty paid.
I think he might have been kicking the ball away after he kicked the point, so Hay will take the free kick right on the edge of the centre square. Short, Hereda, the centre half back, just tries to push away Weatherall. Timmy Weatherall, dogged little competitor, hangs on as long as he can get away with it. Hereda, Sturt now with a lot of players behind the ball. Oh, big leap from Cowan, couldn't take the mark. Begley recovered the best. Now they come through the middle of the ground. The kick was not the best. McKenzie off to Cowan, off to Hopwood. Hopwood in long. Wait on it. Schooler from behind. Umpire says in the back. Hands out first, he said. We'll have another look. Tim Ginniver, your expert opinion was?
Well, I saw Campbell go out of the frame there, but I don't know if there was too many hands on his back.
Feast almost had two hands on that ball twice. Some umpire said no. Sturt fans weren't happy. Simon Feast, the bald one, will get up.
It must have been a very early push when he got him. So
not with his arms.
Hey, the umpire's always right.
Nelson almost robbed the ball from his central opponent. Now Krieg quickly to Cochrane. Cochrane off one step. Inside 50 again. Healy tried to take it. Couldn't. Howman was good enough. Out of bounds. Pressure. Pressure and more pressure.
Howman very brilliant to get his left arm around and spoil that one away to the boundary line. Slade can keep it in.
Boundary throw in. 9 points the difference. Chris Gowans. The kick out of there. Clun tackled by young Keller, whose tackling has been good. He's been a competitor, the young man.
He's shown that he can play at this level comfortably. And it's an excellent effort in your first game.
Simon Arnott just to left of screen there as Marco Bello went out. And boys, there's a change there too. Looks like a change for the Bulldogs.
Yes, Matty Slade's just come off and Marco Bello returns just to add some bite here late in this third quarter.
Well, free kick will go to Gowans. That's James Gowans. Will load it up inside 50. Had a couple of options but decides to go long. to Schooler. Now, getting back is Howman. Well played. Ball hits the deck. Nelson couldn't take it. Healy just dives on the football. Needs to get rid of it. The umpire said, give it to me.
Got to be careful there. He dragged it in. He's probably lucky Ben Nelson put his hand on top of it, which might have saved him, but got to be careful with those.
The men in white always closer than the men in the commentary box. Up goes Mackenzie, knocks it down. Sheedy works out of that pack brilliantly. Somehow got it to Campbell. Off a step. High ball. No one can take the mark. Coulter. Oh, brilliant bit of play by Coulter. Goes for goal. Ball knocked away. In goes the Sturt defence. It's pretty tough in there. Mackenzie just got it out just for a moment. In goes Conway. What a hot contest we've got. Mackenzie somehow handball blocked off. It's ferocious. Away they go. Gowans gets the handball to Krieg. Oh, up and under kick. Horrible ball. Under it. Maloney. They fly. Who can take the mark? No one. Cochrane was the flyer. The ball out to half back. Roberts Thompson's got it. Just tries to get around. Can't do. Kellett. Oh, shrugs a tackle. Cop one high. And the young man Kellett will take the kick.
Sturt are under siege here, but Centrals have to get goals to make them pay.
Kellett centres up the ball from behind. Cowan! Strong mark.
You'll always get a contest out of this bloke. You'll always get a contest. That's what I like about him. He's a real competitor. He's gone up here, made his presence felt, took a good mark.
So Begley there, out of position, didn't quite have the ability to be able to get the arm out and make any sort of punch. Just body pressure was all he could apply.
Important kick for him now. He wants to stay in this lineup and stay as a key forward. And you've got to kick these goals.
One behind this afternoon. This time, well, the players in the goal square are happy. Wait on the umpire, he's happy. And the Centrals fans around the ground wave the flags. And Cowan gets a goal.
Well, goals have been an absolute premium today. And as I said, this was a really important kick. Just to give Centrals and their midfield and everybody else that's working so hard to get the ball inside 50, the rewards, the just rewards for their efforts. And that in the end, like I said, they're pretty priceless today, goals. And 40 plays 25, that's the biggest margin we've had today.
15 points the difference. Back in the centre. Schooler tried to take it out. Taken by Nelson. Away they go. Can they respond? The double blues. Roberts Thompson. High ball over the back. Who can run onto it? Hayes there. Also Feast. Oh, good hip and shoulder by Hay on Feast. Off to Heidi. Tried to go the boundary. Powell tried to keep it in. And we'll throw it back in. 15 points the difference.
Crucial parts of this game, Sturt have been good enough to get a goal. They're down in the forward pocket again. Have a look at this contest. Beautiful stuff by Hay and Feast, both committing to the ball. That's what you love about it. Physical clashes, that's football.
Harada and Feast. Thought Feast got the better of that. Hay once again, somehow, got it out to Thomas, who runs it out of bounds. So we'll throw it back in. 25 minutes gone. Third term. Three goals in this term. 2 Centrals. And if you want to get onto our website, abc.net.au/SA footy. Get on the website. Bit of feedback. Boundary throw in. Schooler got it down. Roved his own ball. Chris Gowans locked up in a tackle. No dropping the ball decision. Taken by Krieg, off a step, down the line, Kellett v Curtis, and marked by Kellett, and he's away. The young man just slips Curtis and just strides away. He is a player, this young fellow. Great kick to Healy, who couldn't hold on to it. Begley's there, somehow back to Campbell. Over the top, they're still in trouble. Whiteman, the handball, as Curtis will clear.
Curtis goes down the line. Here's Maloney, ever reliable captain, makes a mistake. Out of bounds in front of that construction site where a stand is eventually going to be erected in time for the Rugby World Cup in October. Sturt fans not looking that far ahead at the moment. Damien Squire, one of those little buttons that the girls have there, and he has not had a very good afternoon, Tim. We'll get to that in a moment. Here's Nelson. Took on 3 of them. Hand pass to Clun. Cochrane robbed it of him. Clun through mid-air, kicked the ball up to centre half forward. 3-quarter time, then a very short quarter again. Not many goals, 26 minutes, 42 seconds that quarter. And at 3-quarter time, it's Central District 5-10-40 and Sturt 3-7-25.
Well, you're right, not a lot of goals, but Central's got them 3 goals to 1 in that term, and that was an excellent effort because they needed some reward for a lot of their efforts that they made. And 5 goals, 10-40, a 15-point lead at 3/4 time. It's just enough, I believe. They're going home not with much of a breeze, but enough to give them a bit of confidence to say we've got to run this game out. They have been the better side on the day. Sturt have kept themselves into it with some important goals at important times, but in the end, it's been Central's day up to date.
So a 15-point margin at 3/4 time. Is it enough? Well, we'll wait and see. Central's certainly having the better of that 3rd quarter. No doubt about that, and able to stretch out that margin just a bit. Adams Watala, been very important for them at the back. In fact, all the defenders on both sides have been
Great. Been a lot of pressure on. The tempo really lifted in that turn. That's a great centering kick there. Just a set play up. Clinton Graham delivering. This one earlier in the day, Swatala coming through, set up one of the goals that was kicked by James Gowans in the first term. So, nice work there. Again, just finding plenty of the football, playing off his back flank. And the main thing is, when he's delivering the football, he's hitting the targets. That's a great effort, great late tackle, and a lot of them efforts have been made by the Central side today.
The Sturt side there just gathering at 3/4 time, and they've really not been able to get much up forward. Aaron Bishop's been good since he's come onto the ground, but they haven't had a lot up forward, have they?
No, it's been difficult. Grant Chambers, a couple of efforts, has made the most of them, but Bishop, since coming on, like you said, he's great mark behind play. Takes that kick behind play role and does it very well, and takes a lot of marks overhead. Keeps his head up pretty well, and that's a beauty. That's a real good example of keep your head up and taking a mark on the back play. And again,
23, still finding his way in the game.
Yeah, and I think that one of those guys that is starting to really develop into a good player, and still got 5 or 6 really good years in him.
There we go. The biggest margin of the game now, 3/4 time. 15 points, 5-10-40 plays, 3-7-25 in favour of the Bulldogs. A reversal of the result at the moment in last year's grand final.
Still not a lot, is it though? 15 points, 3 quick goals, and she's back in the ball game.
And that man, Roy Laird, in his rookie season, coaching Centrals. Let's have a listen.
Just putting his head over a footy when it's required. That's all we ask before the game. Not our 7 best players, but 21 of our best putting their hand up every time the moment's called for. Talking about spirit, talking about pride. Hazy to be knocked out in the first quarter of a game. It was just in Gaga. He's come back and played an absolutely sensational game. Put his body, Matt Feast there. He's put his body every time it's required, and it's all you ask from every player now for the last quarter. We've got to make sure. Those stoppages, you continue to be dominant, you find front spot, you give up first little blokes first look at the footy. Even though Marco took a footy there from a ball up, got his hands on it, we got caught in a tackle. We control it. You give up that front spot at all and give them any first sight, then they're running, we give them back the advantage. We keep winning front spot at stoppages, we keep maintaining. Just as the game started opening up there in that quarter, we started using our brain, we started finding some options, and there'll be clear options. These blokes have chased.
And you can see Roy Laird very controlled behind us, very happy with what's going on so far, calling for an extra special effort from his on-ballers, but also he's praising his plays. He's a very positive type of coach, something I really like to see. Just quickly, the Gowanses, the James and Chris just getting rubbed out on the side. It's a fairly hot day, so they could well come, that rotation, they've rotated blokes off the bench, could well come into play later in the year. From a Sturt's point of view, we'll whip over to Mark Soderstrom.
Well, Brenton Phillips, happy with the amount of ball the players are getting. His big theme for this quarter is to take risks, and as you know, if the biggest risk of all is not to take any. What he's done, he's going to have Aaron Bishop in the ruck, Chambers, Feast and Conway all in the forward line, looking just to build that forward line and score some goals that way, Neil.
Thanks for that, Sodas, and to Andrew Rogers. We look at those goal kickers, and finally we've got some multiple goal kickers.
The list is starting to come along. Chambers with 2, Wetherell 1. Central Districts have got Slade, Chris and James Gowans 1 apiece, and Cowan with 1.
We played 6 or 8 quarters. Perhaps we might get to 5 and 6 goals for some of those players.
Just have a look at those inside 50s. Central's 47 to 25.
Back down onto the ground of Sodas.
It's actually me, Neil. Joining me is Scott Lee, former champion player at Central District, now assistant coach. Had plenty of the footy, Scotty, just can't put them away.
Yeah, it's been a very tight, tough game, very finals-like sort of pressure out there. As it is, it's like 5 goals to 3. It's a very low-scoring game, so if we can get a couple of goals on the board early, should do all right for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you just wonder, they've kicked 3 goals for the game. You wonder where they're going to get that 3 goals to get in front and then hopefully finish it off.
Yeah, well, anything can happen in this sort of situation. You know, game could open up at any stage, and someone could whack a few games on the goals on the board. So we've got to be cautious of that, but still score a few goals ourselves.
Thanks, Scotty. As you can see, Central's trying to use up time. They'll try to pepper away here. Sturt are going to need to respond and take some risks to kick some goals. Thanks, Neil.
Thanks to Andrew Rogers, trying to use up a bit of time down there before we get to the bounce. And yeah, gee, the task is really ahead of Sturt, because Centrals have done what they were able to do in last year's before the grand final in shut down the game. Now tonight the round continues, another Anzac Day match, and Norwood against South Adelaide. South Adelaide fairly disappointing, that's an understatement, last week against Sturt. And the other games, North versus the Eagles, the ABC TV game tomorrow, Westies versus Glenelg, and we're about to see an exciting last quarter, we hope. Here's Michael Maney.
Final quarter underway. Can Sturt get back? They're 15 points down. We'll have another ball up in the centre of the Adelaide Oval. Magnificent day for football, and we haven't been disappointed with the contest we've had here today. Can Centrals finish it off? Can Sturt get back into the match? And as Tim Ginniver said earlier, 2 or 3 quick goals, anything can happen. Ball booted forward. Mackenzie leading in the race for the footy, wants to dish off. He does to Healy, who shows a bit of toad as Daniel Healy decides to have a bounce, wants to get onto the left boot. Long kick by Healy. It's a goal!
Well, that's a skipper's goal, isn't it? Just when you really need it and you want to make sure that you've got this victory, give it to your captain. Has a bounce, professional, steadied up on his preferred foot and really drilled it home.
12 kicks, 6 handballs. Very busy captain.
A good performance, because he's had to go down and play a forward role at times, and to just finish off with that goal, it's just so important.
Central starting the final term just as they started the third term, with a goal inside the first minute. Cochrane off the ground, Chris Gowans, opportunity, can't pick it up, somehow gets it across to Kellett. Very impressive in his first game. Kellett drives it up. Oh, timely fist came in there from Howman, but it went back towards the Central's goals. And Begley quite happy to see it across the line to the inevitable boos.
It's a sure sign though, isn't it, that you're under pressure and there's not the numbers down there. Quick
Begley.
entry.
Yep, that's right. Campbell with the footy, shields the eyes. Short kick, Wicks, out of side. In plenty of trouble now, the double blues. Going to take 4 straight kicks. Howman in front of Swatala. Play this chipping game. Howman's been pretty good at half-back. They've been under plenty of pressure down there too. Kick along the lines. Hopwood was good with a fist. Sheedy, will he run out of room? Slips and takes it over. 2.5 minutes gone. 25 plays 47. Been a tight contest all day. I think we mentioned 15 points at three-quarter time being the highest margin between the two. Bello, kick smothered. In goes Hopwood, will want to find the line and does. Nelson there. Claims deliberate, but umpire has none of it.
Boys, the official attendance today, 8,694, and they're all starting to come alive in the second half.
Well, they've seen a very, very tough contest, a very close one. Will it open up in this last quarter? Bello picks it up, tries to charge through, no luck. Forward goes Central. That was Arnott who kicked it. Umpire said that was holding the man. That looked fairly soft.
That was a good attack and they retarded his run, so Whiteman deserved it.
Curtis now driving down towards Conway. Sturt's latest convert to the centre half forward position. Coming across was Nelson, blocked the ball. Over the top he got it to Sheedy. Sheedy was blocked as well by Bello. And Marco Bello is very, very good at those little things.
Little 1%ers just smothering the ball. Centrals have been very, very good at that today. Arnott, love his game. And I tell you what, we're on a day where a lot of players have had trouble handling the footy. He's been so clean with what he's done with his hands especially.
Schooler got the ball down nicely. Swatala attacking with the S's. Umpire says yes, it's my ball. So the police prosecutor, Tim Pfeiffer, ready to bounce the ball. Great crowd this afternoon.
I knew I was nice to him for a reason.
Ball down to Arnott. The man Tim just mentioned, Arnott through centre half forward. Campbell was first to read it. Cowan, though, big leap, almost took the ball away. Little dummy from Howman, set himself in the clear. He's kicked a clum, pressured now, falls over. Bad mistake. Kellett now looks up forward, gets a good shepherd, attacks the 50. What's he got on offer? Great kick. Should be a mark, is a mark. Handball over the top. James to Chris. Gowans have a goal.
Tell you what, might be seeing something special in the making here. Young Kellett, David Kellett, is quite a footballer. Picks the football up here. Presence of mind to steady, have a bounce. Had a look at the goals and thought, nah, that's out of my range. What have I got? Square. Very intelligent football. And then the Gowans brothers, well, they just love sharing. I'll tell you what, their mother must have whacked them that many times for not sharing when they were young. They've certainly carried it into their older age.
They certainly have. Just 18 years of age, young David Kellett. Plenty of football in front of him. Boy, oh boy, 53 plays 25. It's out to 28 points. Back in the centre, Bello. Locks up Weatherall. And we'll have another bounce. Gee, you would think Sturt need the next two pretty quickly.
They've got to keep working at it. They've got to get them pretty quickly because Centrals have been threatening this all day with their attack and the way they've gone about their football, and now are starting to put the scoreboard pressure on with goals.
Just a magnificent day at the Adelaide Oval. We've seen some terrific skills on display. We've seen toughness right in the Anzac spirit, that is for sure. Schooler and Bishop. Bishop got the better of that. Curtis got it to Maloney. Maloney's high ball. Conway under it. Running with the flight was Hopwood, taken by Hay. The quick give to Thomas, who's got plenty of pace. Sits it up high. Great Mark Bishop. We highlighted his performances at three-quarter time. He's continuing on, taking by Howman. Howman to Conway. Can't take the mark. Rode by Hopwood. Hopwood's got a man in Arnott. Arnott normally uses the foot. He's got McKenzie just out in front of the big man. He's got to bend over. How does he go? Scooped it up well. Oh, just nobody grabbed him. No one's grabbed him yet. Away they go. James Gowans. Short kick finds Kellett.
A good footy, McKenzie there. Just at times, he can have a look at his game. He actually handles too hard when he's in close. He's just got to use the soft hands and get it to the next guy. Really tried to drill Chris Gowans, was it, or James? But
James.
In the end, he was good enough to handle it, James Gowans.
Kellett from just inside 50. It's a high kick by Kellett. The young man kicks his first league goal, and what a time to do it.
I haven't seen a debut like this for a long time. To be so sure-handled and really know everything, the poise he's shown today, which I like. Just have a look at this McKenzie handball. Just really a little bit too hard. Well handled by James. Nice little pass. This is a good leg because I know he's not real confident in his distance, but to not make up for it and hook the ball for distance, he just kept a straight leg and made sure, well, if I'm going to give it my best, at least it's going to be accurate.
34 points now, the margin in favour of Centrals. You think this game's beyond the double blues now. They crash in the centre again. We'll get a secondary bounce.
Interestingly for Centrals, Daniel Shell's been thrown into the ruck. Just have a bit of a run around, see if he can get some confidence.
His confidence that he really needs is kicking in front of goal, Tim.
Yeah, I think it's gone beyond that though, and that's what Andrew Rogers is referring to. He just needs to now to get his hand on the ball and have a bit of a run around and try and get some touches. And that might come back then in front of goal.
Central's doing it well in close. And as I mentioned it in the three-quarter time break, this was one of the problems for Sturt last year. They just could not break away and run, except for the grand final. Now Shell creeps off the back of this pack and has gone down into the forward line to be picked up by Howman. McKenzie comes into the ruck against Feast. McKenzie with first hands on the ball. Eventually came out to Thomas off the left leg, wide, very wide. Curtis looks around, hand pass to Wicks. Oh, he's in trouble, taken high. That was very fortuitous because Daniel Wicks ran himself into a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, and Marco Bello, who's been very good at the 1%ers today, just fell into him too high.
So Wicks at half back for Sturt. Half back right, high and long, not quite as high as that crane in the background, but still it was a high kick. Conway battling hard, the former Centrals player. Oh, there's a sleight of hand. We might get another look at that as we go in. And Squire was the man taking the ground, just through the legs. Bit of basketball.
It was a very talented pickup. Very talented, but in the end, might have been done on the ball because he had an opportunity to handball off.
Perhaps unnecessary to take the ball that way. Damien Squire been very, very quiet this afternoon.
Just 3 possessions.
Thanks, Moggy.
And Thomas has certainly run off both him and Weatherald at times. Damaging second quarter from Thomas.
Thomas has had 19, 15 and 4, and those 2 Sturt players, Cooper and Weatherald, have only had 2 possessions each since half-time.
Centrals at the moment content to shut the game down. Cochrane was the man who got the kick out of there. Curtis stands under it. Bello pressures him. Now Curtis centres up the ball. Brenton Phillips, Sturt coach, asked them to take risks. Campbell's in trouble now. He just faded too far and eventually did well though. Got it to Weatherall. Weatherall from right on the centre square. Lobs it up looking for Chambers. Well done by off to Heidi. Punched the ball away now. Hay. Good rat from his coach at 3/4 time was Tyson Hay. Knocked out in the opening term, has come back, played very well in the back pocket. And the Central's defence has been very good, as is evidenced by the fact Sturt has managed only 3 goals, 7 for the afternoon.
There's a couple of them there. Spitala and Thomas on screen have been very good.
Mackenzie with the double-hander. Just to a pack. In goes that young man in Kellett again. I think a free kick's coming out to the double blues, saying to Timmy Weatherall.
Chris Gown's made his own change. 21 for 59. I love it.
Now they love their footy. As Tim Weatherall will kick from, well, I suppose he'd be right on 50 there. High ball. Up they fly. Chambers is the lone man in the middle of that pack. Kicked off the ground. Tried again by Feast. I think it might have just hit the post, did it?
I think it did.
He's through for one behind.
A few con jobs trying to happen there to the goal umpire, but he was too good for him. It was definitely rushed.
Centrals quickly. Cochrane with the big fly. At the front, Kellett. Presence of mind again from the young man. Off to Hay. Round the corner. Again, Centrals in control. Over the top, it came to Bello. Bello approaches the 50, kicks in long. Over the back, lovely mark. Well judged by Josh Coulter.
They've stuck to the discipline all day, Centrals. They've stuck to it, and a lot of this front and centre stuff has paid off in the end. And I don't think it's any better than James Gown's handball to get it out into the running path of Bello. Just so quick and so important.
Just one behind for Coulter this afternoon thus far. Left footer. Eases the ball home. Umpire wanders across, but I think the end result will be full points. Centrals are well and truly home. No emotion from the coach though.
Yeah, Sturt have got to be careful they don't let the floodgates open here. Kellett involved. You see all this really good work. Hay kicks it up. Bang, look at this. Very quick, very important handle into the path of the running Bello, who's free. His delivery, as we know, is excellent. And Coulter on the end of it made sure he rewarded his teammates up the ground for their efforts. Look at that.
Out to 39 points now. He's pretty happy about it, Josh Coulter. Giving a bit of lip down there in the square. Up goes Mackenzie. Ball to ground. Another one of these secondary bounces. There's been plenty of those today. It's like Chris Gowns, is it?
Yes. The calf work going on there.
Central's busiest player, 23 possessions.
Has been in everything. So too has Mackenzie. I've been pretty impressed with the contest that Mackenzie's given them in the time that he's been on the ground.
Well, they've all done it. And, you know, you heard the coach demand it at 3/4 time that they just keep giving when it's their turn.
Weatherall tried to get through. Hay locks him up. And Mackenzie also there again, so we'll have another bounce.
Mackenzie has been rotated with Cowan up forward and on the ball, and Schooler as well, and they've all made a contest.
You'd have to say Roy Laird has coached pretty well today. Mackenzie, the big fist forward. Curtis loves to run with the footy, dishes off to Whiteman. Oh, dangerous handball. Wicks got on the end of it. Whiteman just backed it up. Good run from half back. The high ball looking for Chambers. He works his way to the front and takes the mark. Well played, Grant Chambers. He's going to take a good kick from here, though, to kick a goal. Just looking at my list, he's kicked a goal in the second term and the third term. and 17 for the year for Brant Chambers. Not a miss today, 2 goals straight. He'll kick from 45. Gets plenty of it. Good looking kick. Goal umpire says I think it's home for one behind.
Yeah, just off to the near side there, and that brings up his second point for the season. And pretty accurate kicking. Didn't miss this by a lot either, did he? 17 goals, 2 for the year. Excellent kicking.
So Hay to bring the ball in for Centrals. Roy Laird must be very happy with his side performance thus far. Long kick, 60-metre kick. McKenzie the target, brings it to ground. Sturt have the numbers. Curtis off to Whiteman, tries to break a tackle, then off to Nelson from 51 metres. Nelson rams it home, and a belated and very much needed goal for the Sturt Football Club if they are to take any confidence out of this match at all.
It's a long time coming, that goal, isn't it? And their midfield,
the exact 12-minute mark of the third term was the last time they scored a goal.
Well, their midfield's been soundly beaten today by more desperate Centrals, and in the end, very powerful kick by Nelson to nail that goal. But they've just got to keep working at it, Sturt, because they can't afford, to let this margin blow out too much and just allow Centrals I suppose a little confidence booster going into the next time they clash.
Clark Robert Thompson's coming onto the wing to replace Adam Funnell.
Bank Sodas, 32 points the difference. Taken away by Centrals. It was Creed getting the kick away. Curtis, just from half-back, looks for Feast. He'll fly to Simon, couldn't hold on to it. They worked pretty hard on the ground. I think that might have been Coulter. Got it to Slade. Slade's kick to Cochrane. Cochrane's taken the mark. Inboard to Shell. To Slade. This way, that way. Caught with the footy. Still good enough. Cochrane. This works around the boundary. Centres the kick up. Wicks. Finds a comfortable bounce. Can't get it. In goes Maloney with the right boot. Only as far as Hay will chop it off. Hay can run. Has a man loose. In Swatala. Takes the mark inside 50 in front of Wicks. Swatala. He's got a bit on offer. Kellett's on his own at centre-half forward, but Weatherall covers him. So Swatala from right on 50. He's a good kick of the footy, Adam Swatala. Gives this a ride. Gives it a great ride, Adam Swatala. I think he's popped it through. Well, answering goal by Adam Swatala. And he kicks his first of the afternoon.
That's a great way to finish off a great game in defence. Hay again setting up play, and they have run and run from defence. They've been very good. First found out where their man is, and then they've run off when they've got the football. And Swatala, I don't know why he looked at options, because he kicked that very, very well and really laid it to rest.
Swatala missing the 2 premierships whilst he was with Essendon in the AFL. Very keen to get a premiership medallion, that young man. Ball down in the middle again. Feast has been thrown in there. Weatherall got one high. Umpire says free kick. Hard not to get Tim Weatherall high. Only a little man. Feast. Good strong mark by Feast. Half forward left for Sturt in the shadows of the stand and the light poles and everything else. Drives it inside 50. Chambers. Don't know if he really wanted that in the end, but it fell in his hands. And he'll line up from perhaps 20-odd metres.
Yeah, McKenzie was trying to fill the hole there, but just couldn't get across to block off that pass. And Chambers, he'll be looking out to his tally. 17-2 already this season, very accurate, and wouldn't have a lot of trouble with the way he's been kicking lately with this one.
2 goals, 1 so far this afternoon. 2 goals, 3 in their premiership win last year. Number 7 for Sturt, Brant Chambers. Lovely kick. Sits it out to the right. It comes back on the breeze. And again, Sturt, just a much-needed goal for some confidence. That's his 3rd for the afternoon, Chambers.
At the moment, I reckon it's just about the result that should have been Central's way. It's a 32-point margin at the moment, and I really expected that to be what Central's deserved for their efforts that they've had, especially in that 3rd term when they just started to break it open. And really have been worthy winners here today on Anzac Day. Done all the right things, all the discipline, and the 1%ers have been excellent.
5 goals to 2 in the last term by Centrals has really stitched it up for them. Feast got it down to Weatherall. Roberts Thompson to Curtis, who goes down the line, looking for Conway, who's been ineffective at centre-half forward, you'd have to say. Krieg dives on the footy. In goes Hopwood. Looks like Krieg's hurt there, just back on play. Nelson can't get out of a tackle from Hay and Hopwood. And we'll have a bounce.
He had a bit of trouble getting up, but limping away now, ready to play.
A bit of a hobble up, but I think he'll be right tonight. They'll celebrate long and hard. Conway, drove by Bello, foxed it out to Cochrane, who just dabbed it on the boot. Said he was pushed. Advantage rule was paid. Away goes Hay. Down to Cowan. One grab, two. Thanks for coming. To Slade, who runs out of ground in the end. Mown down by Maloney. In goes Schooler to Bello, who's always good with a footy. Coulter loads it up. High ball, well away to the right. I think that's out of bounds on the full. Just blazed away.
We had more time, didn't he? And he knew that. He was running through, he was collecting the ball, had a full vision of what was happening. So he should have really made a better effort of that.
Time just to clear the nasal passages there for the Gowans boys. As Begley to take the free kick. Tim, interestingly still, in 2003, no SANFL side has won after trailing at quarter time.
There you go. Make sure you're in front.
From behind,
great tackle.
Shell punched the ball forward.
There it is. It's paid now.
Now the free kick to Cochrane off the left leg, immediately centres up. Central into style. This is the most open we've seen the play all afternoon. Krieg with the mark. Slow to get up before. His kick was pretty good. Feast sat at the front. Punch came to Slade. Taken to ground. Sturt appealing for a free kick. No such luck.
Well, the Sturt defence certainly earned their pay today. They have been under siege and held up pretty well. It could have been a lot worse result for them had these guys not done their job.
32-point margin. Into time on. Final term. Anzac Day at the Adelaide Oval. Bello thought he was running clear there just for about a microsecond.
He was very excited about it, and unfortunately it didn't come up for him. Raider coming off, did a great job at centre-half forward. Centre-half back, I should say, for Centrals.
It's in the Centrals forward line at the moment. Campbell ushers it towards the boundary, and Howman is taking it over the boundary, finding it hard with the extra, 10, 12 stone of weight to carry there, and Matthew Slade hanging off him, and why wouldn't that man be happy?
Yeah, he did a reasonable job. He's up against Feast at times, Conway at times, McKenzie at times, so did a reasonable job against all the tolls.
Veteran of 190 games in the SANFL. We've got a fight at centre-half back, and here they come, Slade over the top. That'll precipitate even further struggling. And the Gowans boys, what a shocker involved, or at least one of them, James. Umpire Tim Pfeiffer has ruled that Sturt was the offender and then the offender again, and so it's 50 metres. He'll take him all the way to the square. I don't even know who's got the free kick. It's one of the Gowans, it's James, and he will kick a goal and stay with him because he will have a mouthful to say to the Sturt boys. In he goes, kicks the goals, and here James Gowans, can he help himself? No, it's too late in the game perhaps, Tim, for him to go back and have a very sharp word to a few of the Sturt boys.
Oh, it's not over yet, but I tell you what, a bit late for this sort of stuff, isn't it?
And Tim, Chris Gowans has just come on the ground as well, so I'm sure he's going to go and join in the chorus there.
Yeah, something about that, isn't it?
The thing that strikes me is it's taken 22 minutes into the last term for a duster.
Took a long time, didn't it? And in the end,
nothing much in it.
Wasn't a lot in it.
A lot in it. There's James Gowans, a couple of goals today.
Couldn't see the free kick either.
Anyway, back in the centre. Taken out of there by Krieg, off a step, looks for the boundary line. Howman is just going to pinch it just before it goes out. Coulter runs onto the seam, gives some ground to Whiteman, whose handball was looking for Howman, and Howman was going nowhere.
Indicative of the pressure that Centrals have applied all day long. In the end, just pressure made him handball the ball and miss a target.
Saying, how man am I supposed to get that?
How man, tell me. Just couldn't get on the end. Schooler down to Cochrane, to Kellett, who's had an impressive debut. Locked up by Whiteman this time, couldn't quite get away, but he got a free kick for across the shoulder, the young man. Much to the disgust of the Sturt crowd. They really have something to boo about there.
Well, on the umpire's side, it was a little higher than what they would have seen from their angle.
Kellett squares it up right to centre half forward for the Doggies. Free kick will go to the Double Blues. Coming out of there is Matthew Powell, who really hasn't had much impact today, Matty Powell. Played a bit in the forward line, across half forward. The kick to Roberts Thompson, just held onto the mark long enough. Under pressure from Kellett.
Hotted up a little bit, hasn't it, Michael? Got a little bit feisty towards him.
Yes. A little bit of spice. What did we have in the first term? Short kick. Is marked by Beveridge. We haven't seen much of Beveridge this afternoon. Moggy, his stats would be pretty slim.
There's 4 kicks and 2 handballs.
Yeah, under 10. Beveridge kicks forward, looking for Conway. Can't take the mark. Thumped away by McKenzie. Away comes Gowans. Too easy. To Coulter. He just reels it in. He's got Hopwood, but decides to go with the left leg. Wants to go short. Schooler takes it on the wing. And Schooler will pump the Dogs into attack.
Whole ground just about in shadow late in this match as Slade out of the shadows. Maybe you couldn't see where he was kicking.
Out of the shadows into the dark. Out of bounds on the full.
Howard been good at centre half back for Sturt. Drives the ball as long as he can down the line. Oh, big leaps from the Centrals boys. Beveridge, who we haven't seen much of, approaches goal. Easy kick, hoping for a goal. It bounces on the line, and it is a goal. A belated one for Sturt. Their 6th of the afternoon.
Yeah, just got to keep at it. You're right. Not much of really from any of the midfield. Early on, Cooper was busy and Weatherall, but then from about the second quarter onwards, it was all Centrals in the midfield. They won the front possession, just kept winning and driving the ball forward, and blokes like Beveridge didn't get much of an opportunity.
Busiest players for Centrals are the twins, Chris with 23 and James with 22, and for Sturt, Campbell with 25 and Whiteman with 22, both in defence.
Their defence has been working pretty hard. 32 points the difference. Centrals led by 12 at quarter time, 4 at half time, 15, and they lead by 32 in the Anzac Day clash. Ball out of the centre. Thomas, who's just kept running all day. In fact, it's Shell. Across to Hopwood. Away they go. Coulter has a man inboard in Bellow. Bellow, the handball to Kellett. Now Kellett looks forward, spears the kick. Cowan takes the mark. Lace out. And David Kellett, well, I would say possession have to be around about the 15 or 16, Moggy.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. 14 with 6 good marks as well.
It's been a great debut, and Cowan will just put his boot back on. But if he can keep taking grabs like this, he really will be an important forward. They've lost Conan forward this year, Centrals, and they're screaming out for somebody to take over up forward and take some marks and be a person that makes the contest and either brings it to ground, front and centre, or takes the mark, and he can be that man for him.
Well, that's Luke Cowan's boot. He's going to kick with 1 boot on, 1 boot off. And this is a bit of a party trick maybe late in the game. Luke Cowan couldn't be bothered putting the boot on, so he'll rub a bit of salt in. Kicked a goal in the 3rd quarter, and he might have been slightly unbalanced perhaps as he just pushes it to the right.
Matthew Lloyd effort. You know, you take your glove off, you take your boot off.
I'd have taken both shoes off that kick.
Balanced up. Centrals in the end, 23 scoring shots at the moment to just 15 for Sturt. Campbell goes long from fullback, looking for Howman. Flies over McKenzie, knocks the ball to ground. Oh, shocking hand pass from Begley. McKenzie over the top, should be punched away. It is by the Sturt defenders. But again, Centrals with the numbers, working hard. Coulter is a thumping left foot kick, drives the ball in, hoping for a mark. Feast comes up across, knocks it down. Begley, short hand pass, too short perhaps. McKenzie tries the underground hand pass, that doesn't work. It's ping pong in there. Maybe pinball. Here's McKenzie, thumps it out of the pack, round 25 metres from goal, and Whiteman just scored it over the line. 78 plays 45, comfortable. Not a very comfortable way of saying that, but a comfortable victory, you would say, for Centrals.
Spit it out, Neil.
It was a long time coming, though, even though their work rate was far greater. They didn't have the scoreboard pressure on there early, so it took a long time, but they've broken it up and they've deserved the win.
Ball back into play. Curtis taking the ground. With intent, I would say he was falling to ground then. With intent, was eyeing off his opponent and thinking, my shoulder will go nicely into his chest.
A bit of a crocodile roll there too. Cooper hasn't been as effective today, but he's worked pretty hard, you have to say. For the Double Blues. Feast knocked it down. Powell off a step. He's looking for Roberts Thompson. That was Squire coming through. Couldn't get it. Away goes Cochrane. High ball. They all fly. No one can take the mark. Campbell stayed down with effect. Just pretty good on the left and the right. Spots a teammate in Cooper. Can he reel it in? Fingertip of good mark to Cooper. Lays it off to Sheedy. Quiet day for the Magarey medalist. Back to Cooper. They kick long. Target is Chambers. V Shell. In they go. Well played. Snatched by Chambers. Chambers over the top to Roberts-Thompson. Can they get another consolation goal maybe? Beveridge who kicked the last one. Lays it off to Weatherall, who has kicked only one today. Slung without the footy. Off to Heidi. The handball to Hopwood. So Centrals get out of trouble through Shell. Nowhere to go. Decides to kick it. Horrible kick. Siren. I think that's put the Double Blues out of their misery. Great victory to Central District. 11-12-78. The Double Blues 6-9-45. And a 33-point win to the Doggies. And Tim, just a hard-working win by Centrals.
Yeah, 33 points I think is justified for Central's effort on the day. As I said, they took a while to blast the game open, which happened late in the third term. They got the bit of a break, and then the last quarter they finished off what it's been a very disciplined effort by them all day long. Just better at the one percenters, better at the stoppages in front, disciplined, and all about the whole game. Very well done.
And Mark Soderstrom's down on the ground with one of the Gowans boys, and from this distance I can't tell the difference.
Neil, you've got no idea who it is, but I've looked at the jumper on the back and it's definitely Chris Gowans. Hang on, I've got them both down there. I've got Chris with me. Now Chris, just a fantastic last quarter, got you home.
Yeah, look, I think early we got away to a good start. We really focused on the ball and trying to win the hard ball, where they've been pretty dominant through the year. But look, we kicked ourselves. Thought we didn't make the most of our opportunities, but towards the end, yeah, we ran away with it and had a lot better legs.
And mate, the game characterised with a lot of errors early on. What was the pressure like in those first three quarters?
Oh, I think there was a lot of pressure. Anzac Day, it's a big day and everyone wants to play in it, and obviously there's a little bit in it from last year's grand final, but yeah, look, I think yeah, the skills weren't cherry ripe, but there was a lot of good contests, good hard contests, and I reckon, yeah, it sorted a few out and then showed at the end, even me with cramping up, yeah.
So it's just a cramp, no problems for next week?
Nah, no problems for next week. I think I just got to do a few more 400s on the track.
And you were just looking after your brother James when you came back on at the end there?
Yeah, I wanted to come on, and yeah, they wouldn't let me, but yeah, he let me come off, and yeah, I don't think Letty know who's he's bringing off, but as long as it's one of us and one of us gets to finish on the ground, it's good.
All right, mate, well, congratulations. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, Otis.
Back to you, Neil.
Very happy Gowans boys. We'll see a few highlights of Chris there. 11 kicks, 12 handballs this afternoon. Very consistent midfield for Central's team.
Yeah, good pressure early. Like you said, skills weren't cherry ripe on the day, but they were doing all the hard things. They were doing all the disciplined things, making sure that they were in front. And in the end, it paid off for them. So it was a pretty good effort.
A little bit of a surprise for me there, but never mind. And Matthew
Did you lose
Slate,
some money, mate?
I was just looking to see what was going on the ground. We'll have a presentation of the medal, for Bob Quinn medal for best on ground in a moment, and I was looking to see if that was actually going to take place, Tim. But look, Matthew Slade, another one was very important this afternoon. 11 kicks, 11 handballs, very important.
I like the way this guy plays. He really gets in and under, makes sure he earns a football. Very good with his hands. His foot skills are excellent as well.
Even there where it was a half centimetre.
He's on the end of this one, which is nice to be on the end of it when you're at the start of so many plays. And a good mark by Cowan there. And comes in. That was an important goal for Centrals too. He really had to kick that and did a good job of it. Really developed as a player today, I think. Daniel Healy, the skipper, he's important, isn't he?
This goal broke the game?
Absolutely. Just so important to get that first one in the last term, and he nailed it. This guy, if they didn't take his head and put it on Rick McGowan's body, I'll go he, because the way he plays and delivers the football, and he was fantastic. I think we saw a very special day today, him making his debut.
Chris Gowans finishing off the work there, and the Centrals did finish off their work in that final term, didn't they?
That's too long to deliver a handball. 4 times he had the chance to deliver the handball, Mackenzie. Not his fault. Sturt, no pressure.
Yeah.
In the end, results in a goal.
Not quite the same as the last time we had our cameras here for a Sturt match. Indeed, the last time Sturt played here was the preliminary final last year, when they really thrashed Norwood.
Yeah, so many of their good players not up today. So many of them, Sheedy down, your Squire down, Weatherall down. Cooper was pretty good early, but really their whole midfield was ripped apart, wasn't it?
Yeah, Josh Coulter finishing off the work there. And just a little bit of tater-tate.
Late in the day. I mean, they probably thought we haven't had a blue today, let's get on with it.
Yeah, James Gowans getting a goal, getting 50 metres, getting a free kick that perhaps nobody expected. Andrew Rogers is ready now. As I mentioned, the Bob Quinn medal about to be presented.
Today's Anzac Day match between Sturt and Central Districts marks the second occasion where the best on ground for today's match will be awarded the Bob Quinn Medal. The SANFL has seen fit to strike a medal in Bob's name in light of Bob's outstanding football career in the SANFL competition pre and post World War II and in recognition of his military service. Bob Quinn's impressive career details include he played between 1933 and 1942 and then returned in 1945 and 1947 pre and post World War II. He was a 1938 and 1945 Magarey medalist. He captained the state 3 times. He played 239 games and kicked 386 goals for his beloved Port Adelaide Magpies. Had 3 times Premiership player at Port, 4-time best and fairest at Port, twice leading goal kicker, 5 years as captain and coach, and in 1996 was inducted to the Australian Football Hall of Fame. His war record between 1942 and 1944, he was awarded the Military Medal for his bravery at Tobruk. I would like to invite Bob's son Greg Quinn forward to present the medal on behalf of his father and the Quinn family. And the winner of the 2003 Bob Quinn Medal is from Central Districts number 16, Paul Thomas.
Yeah, this is an absolute shock. Yeah, one of the gowns or a midfielder should have got it. They set the game up. All we did is just absorb the pressure down in defence and run it forward, and it was the goal kickers that won us the game, not me, so thanks.
A very modest Paul Thomas there. So congratulations to Central Districts and congratulations to Paul Thomas.
A very shocked Paul Thomas. Of that there's no doubt. He had 15 kicks and 4 handballs. And geez, good over those first couple of yards and very precise and hand ahead. The 20-year-old speaking very much like a very stunned 20-year-old, Tim.
Oh, good on him though. He really did. I think he probably carved the game up when it was needed to be carved up in that second term. He really was setting the pressure and setting the tone of running off and doing all the good things. So look, you take your wins, enjoy your wins, young man, and that is an absolute beauty. It's an honour to win that medal. I mean, I've been very close to the Quinn family over the last sort of 10 years, and Bobby Quinn, I know, would have loved to have been here today and to present the medal himself, because an incredible battler, and you know, he was a champion player as well as being a battler, and just the things he stood for as a player. And you know, he told me the story that he actually got off his chair at work and went down and signed up himself without anybody knowing, not conferring with the family or anything, to go to war, because he just felt that it was his duty. So no more fitting a medal than on Anzac Day to be the Bob Quinn medal.
And start of a tradition too, obviously, that's going to continue in the SANFL, only in its second year, the Bob Quinn medal, but something we're obviously going to see down the years. Interestingly, Tim, only the second time, or rather the third time in the past, no, I'll get this right again, I'll start again. Only the second time in the past 8 encounters on Anzac Day where the grand final loser has won.
Only the second time, isn't that amazing? Yeah, because obviously there's always that vengeance thing that comes out. You want to get them back for that game, but I think Central's really, you know, they were upset about the grand final and that their midfield was, you know, carved up like it was. They felt that they were far better than that, and I'd probably believe that as well. And, you know, that's the great thing about grand finals. It's on the day and you have to perform, and you know, a lot of that would have been sitting in them for a long time, and to get out here today and to prove that wrong was probably pretty important to a lot of that midfield.
Starting to hear a few joyous shouts from the Central's boys, because they looked very subdued as they went off the ground there. Quentin Graham, very interesting footballer, and probably didn't get many opportunities last year, and maybe it's because he injures himself trying to walk upstairs, but anyway.
But look, yeah, it's still subdued because it's a victory, and it's a minor round game. You have to win these when you're building your season, and in the end they'll sing the song with a bit of gusto, but then it's planning for next week.
Well, more than 8,500 people here this afternoon, as we saw there. Wonderful scene, magnificent oval, and a magnificent day, Anzac Day, and something to really cherish for the SANFL.
I think it's a privilege to play here for one, and just to have this whole day here at Adelaide Oval, Anzac Day, the whole thing, it's just a privilege to play in, and I think a lot of the guys really do respect that. Chris Gowans mentioned it after the game interview.
And the quarter by quarters once again, as we saw, a very low scoring first half. 2-4-16 for Sturt, just 2-8-20. Centrals maybe had wasted their opportunities, but in the second half the opportunities kept coming. So did the scores, 11-12-78 to 6-10-46.
And the goal kickers for Sturt, Chambers with 3, very accurate, 3 goals, 1 today. And Beveridge, Weatherald and Nelson helping out with the other singles. And for Central District, both Gowans boys with 2 and Slade as well with a double. And Kellett, Cowan, Coulter and Switala with singles.
And the match statistics, and in the end, look at that, a massive number of inside 50s for Centrals compared to Sturt.
It's too many, isn't it? And when you've got numbers like that, eventually it's going to have to pay off, and it did in the end. And 32 hit-outs to 24. I think they did have a slight advantage in ruck as well.
Yes, and kicks and handballs, obviously.
Well, that's interesting too. For Centrals to have more handballs means they've just had far more of the football. And Brenton Phillips, with the way he likes to play footy, they would have had a lot more than that in a perfect day.
Well, it took, 5 games last year for Brenton Phillips to find the mix that was going to beat Central District, and it looks like he's back to square one now. He's got to find something that's going to beat the Doggies.
Oh, look, they've got the belief though now, because they've won that grand final last year. They broke the ice with that one. I think they've got the belief. Today was just not their day.
Oh, it's incredible to think such a turnaround, I guess, in terms of players. What was it, 6, I think Ian Mogridge told us, from Sturt, and 9 different players out there for Centrals. So a vast change from last season, and well, it just shows you that games can change, people can change, and you're never quite the same side.
No, exactly, never quite the same.
Okay, down to Mark Soderstrom.
Well, Neil, we are at the Central District's rooms. Had a quick look in there. Roy Laird, very happy, as you can tell. The boys sang the song with a lot of heart, but we have had the doors shut on us, so we're not going to get an opportunity to hear exactly what he has to say, but I'm sure after that effort today, beating the reigning Premier, he will only be a very happy man now.
Well, thanks, Sodas. He could have been anywhere then, couldn't he?
I think he was wearing his Sturt beanie, that's the problem, mate. That's why they wouldn't let him in.
Well, tonight's match, Nord versus South, another interesting one too to look forward to as the round continues. Nord playing under lights at the parade.
Yeah, Nord having beaten Centrals, they're a very good quality side, and South Adelaide a bit of a roller coaster at the moment. One week they're very good, and the next week very bad, but you know, it could be the night that they're very good.
And tomorrow, North Adelaide versus the Eagles, and we will have that game from 2:30 on ABC television. Something to really look forward to, North and the Eagles, because they need a win.
It'll be a good contest, and don't underestimate North. I think at home as well, they have got an ability to run the football up, and the Eagles just got to be careful, because they need to consolidate their early wins to make sure that they're a top 4 side.
Westies hammered last week by Central District playing Glenelg. That's another game where, well, they've got to be careful.
Yeah, and I think at Elizabeth, look, like I said, premiership sides have been ripped apart there, and Westies won't take too much hard loss out of that, so they should bounce back pretty well.
This afternoon, Centrals bounced back pretty well, didn't they? 32-point victors in the grand final rematch over Sturt. Thanks for your company. Good afternoon.